This is Polykill, where two men, outnumbered by their games and at war with time, undertake the quest of defeating their lengthy backlogs. Please adjust your seat and prepare your ears for the banter of your hosts, Jake and Travis.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Polykill podcast. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Travis, sitting across from the freshly out of his 18th semester of college, Jake. How's it going, Jake?
I'm alive, surprisingly. Feels like I've been dead for a very long time and just kind of resurfaced, kind of came back to life.
Regular old Lazarus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just full-on Lazarus'd it.
Very good.
Yeah, feels good. I found out today that I got a B in that 5-credit calculus and trigonometry class, so I'm very excited about that.
That's good. That's good. That's a lot of credits for a single course.
Yeah, it was way too much for one course.
But hey, man, that'll go a long way. B across 5 credits. What are you going to do? Take more classes?
Be excited, yeah.
Take more classes next semester?
No. I'm taking one 3-credit class next semester, and that's it.
Then you're done. And then you're officially
moving on to another degree.
That's what school's all about.
Yeah.
Man, I've always been in college. That's my favorite thing to do. Anyways, hey, we're Polykill, and we're here to tell you about today's show, which is going to be, as we've been saying before the show here, Jake, a big old girthy girl.
Yeah, she's going to be rotund.
She's going to be big.
Buoyant.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Buoyant. You will float.
Yeah, you could save a life with this if you were on the water and someone was drowning.
For sure. You could just reach for this episode.
Toss it out there.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
We got some big stuff. Now, the couple things I wanted to say, I didn't give enough attention to Brian's video last time, and I wanted to point that out again. Brian made a funny video about Fallout 76. The intro of it is obviously my favorite part because
it's so
he
good.
apes us,
Yeah.
and it's great.
It's spot on.
Yeah, there was no talk between us. He's just like, guys, I made a video. Can I put it up? And we're like, sure, man, whatever. Yeah. And it was a day or two before I got to check it out because, like I said, I had a baby.
You had a baby.
And when I checked it out, I was floored by how accurately he could just do that.
Yeah, and just how well it was put together. Just in general, it was great.
It was good. So good job there, Brian. I feel like there was something else that was in the pipe for one of the two of us. Did you do anything?
No.
You didn't do anything?
I've done nothing.
I also didn't do anything. So let's move on then.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're new to the show, this one's weird.
Yeah.
We do this every year. We talk about the regular shtick.
Right.
We get a little bit reminiscent. We think about, we podcast episodes for the whole year, and then we break down our favorite games that we played in 2018, and then we also break down like a 2018 game. But it's our show, and
we don't just exclusively talk about games that released in calendar year 2018. Just games that we played in the year, and this is a cross-generational podcast, so we don't feel the need to add that constraint for the end of the year episode either.
Yeah, because I'm a millennial and you're what, Z?
I'm a zennial.
Yeah. So see, we're cross-generational here.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, there's not a lot of radar going on.
No, I think we're just going to whack that out, whack it off of the old episode.
No, that's how you say it.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough there worth talking about. I'm not really excited about anything for a while, so we'll probably talk about a little bit more next episode. Maybe say calendar year 2019. What are we looking for?
For sure. Yeah.
But for now, I'll say there's nothing on my radar. Yeah.
But I've been picking up games.
You have.
As you do. Now, hey, I don't get to go out. I don't get to go to flea markets.
Right. You're not doing that
That's
anymore.
That's how you say it, flea markets. I don't get to do that. I don't get to leave the house. I get to sit covered in baby throw up with my knuckles deep in like this mustardy cottage cheese poop that comes out of a small child.
Yeah.
And don't really go anywhere. But, hey, eBay said 15% off.
They did.
Tech. They said tech. And I was like, yo, does that mean video games? And they're like, sure does. And so I waited. Well, I didn't wait because it was that day.
Yeah, it was it. Yeah.
But I looked for anything that was closing out within the next 24 hours, at least by midnight that night.
Sure.
And I found a Metal Storm for the NES.
Tell me about Metal Storm, because I saw you tweet that out like a braggadocious braggart.
Yo, man, this
tell me
one's
about
a big one. I feel like it might have been one of those games maybe before my NES enthusiasm.
Okay.
That was maybe an overlooked gem. Now, since it's been discovered and people want it, but I think it was sort of a late era NES game that was actually good.
Okay.
That is also rare. It's one of those. It fetches about $100 loose.
Okay.
And with this 15% discount, which also maxed out at 100, you couldn't pay for more than 100.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So max is 85. Is what you're paying.
Well, no, you could win a bid for $100, but and then you would max. You're right. Max would be 85. You're right.
I got you.
But yeah, so I was, and it applied to auctions.
Okay.
So I found one that was ending. This one had a little bit of Sharpie on it, and Sharpie ain't no thing.
You can get that off.
I can get that off.
Yeah.
And people just weren't bidding on it, and I ended up winning it. And with the 15% discount, I got it down to $70.
Nice.
Still a lot to pay for an NES game. That's, moderately fun, but it's a collector piece and still fun.
Cool.
So hey, Metal Storm, I'm in the club.
That's a big win.
All right, yeah.
Congratulations.
Sure. Thank you. What did you pick up?
I picked up 2 games. I picked up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Obviously, this was kind of I don't know, if you collect for Switch, obviously you're going to get this, but if you are considering...
You're the only one that collects for Switch. Did you know that?
I think I am. Yeah, pretty cool. But, yeah, I picked that up. I won't say it was on a whim, but it was kind of on a whim. Like, I mulled it around for a few days and, like... You know what? I just kind of want to play it. I want to kind of get in there and
it's hot,
get my feet wet. See what happens.
You like to be in the hot stuff.
I do. I like the hot stuff. I like to trample around in it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, one day, Brian and I were at lunch, and I was like, "You got a minute? Can we just like go to GameStop and I'm just going to pick this up?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So like we leave Jersey Mike's, and just ride on over to GameStop and I just walk in, pick it up, and that's my story for Super Smash Bros. Yeah, not
I will
a lot.
say it's a shitty story.
It's not great,
but
it's not great. There's
happy ending.
Yeah, I got Smash Bros. And then I picked up Into the Breach on Switch digitally. I can't imagine this. Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to get a physical release. This is from the creators of FTL. If you ever played that, but it's
for the love.
No, Faster Than Light.
Faster Than Light.
Yeah. But yeah, Into the Breach is a grid-based strategy RPG-ish kind of thing where you're trying to like keep monsters from doing things. It looks really cool.
Keep monsters from doing things.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's wildly popular. It's only on a few things. I think it's kind of like only on Switch and PC right now, so it's kind of in a weird place. But it was on sale for $10, normally $15. And then I had some of my Nintendo account gold coins stacked up there, so I think I got it for like $7, so around half price what normally would be. And like I said, I can't imagine this was going to be physical. If it will, I'll happily pay whatever it is. But it's a these guys have never done anything physical, so
not even sprinted through their lawn.
They've done nothing physical. They failed their PE classes. But that's what I picked up. I haven't picked up anything more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the time of year where you're buying things for other people.
Exactly.
And you know what? You will have another pickup because I have a gift waiting for you upstairs.
Aww.
Yeah. Aww. Yeah. All right, let's move on. I meant to hand you that before the episode, but that's okay. All right. So I want to check on the resolutions. We got a final push here, Jake. And remember, I was lagging. Remember, we had a conversation maybe 2 episodes ago where I said, it might not happen for Trav. I mean, I had to swap out Game Gear for Sega Master System per your blessing. And let's get into that. So my resolutions were make 5 videos about my collection.
Right.
Did that, done.
Boom.
Did that like in the first month probably.
Yeah.
5 fighting games. Went overboard, got 8.
Oh, shit.
Hey. And then beat a game on each of what I'm considering my obscure systems.
Right.
Which includes the Game Gear, formerly the Master System, but I didn't have any beatable games on it.
Okay.
The Saturn, the TurboGrafx 16, the Sega CD, and the Atari Jaguar.
The Jaguar.
Now, we'll say, Jake, a little spoiler coming up later in the episode. All I have left is the Sega CD.
What?
Yes. And I have a game picked out, so I got 2 weeks.
Oh.
And if I can beat it, then I accomplish all of my resolutions, which mean you might have to suck my... Wait, what was our bet?
I don't remember. I don't think we had a bet.
I can't remember what happens if you lose, but where do you stand?
I stand... So my resolutions were to make 5 videos for our channel, which I think I've made 6. I probably will make 1 more before the end of the year. Is kind of like a Switch collection update.
Okay,
it won't be pickups because that would just be too much. It'll be more of like...
The big hitters.
Here's the big ones.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that beginning of the year for 6 months, no buy games.
Did that.
No buy games.
You did it for just 6 months.
For 6 months, right.
Yeah.
And I did that.
6 months.
Accomplished that. And then beat one of my major RPGs on my backlog. This is where it gets a little sticky because I really am not close on anything except for Fallout 4.
Just do it.
So that might be my saving grace. I might just.
I don't want you, you'll cry the whole time. I'll cry the whole time. I don't want you to. Wait, I still can't remember what what the stipulations were.
Either way, we're crying. Yeah. But so that's where I stand. I think I've got a decent shot of pulling this off because I'm not. Well.
Talk about some procrastination, though. We had a year.
Long story, really short. In the next month, I'm going to be doing a lot of overnight work. Mm-hmm. So, like during my little holiday break here, I'm probably going to start getting my schedule ready for that, my sleep schedule.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to be up a little bit later.
There might be an opportunity for me just to play Fallout 4 into the wee hours. So,
nice.
We'll see.
Nice.
We'll see.
Well, good luck to you, sir. I hope that you're able to do it. Unless something crazy happens, I should be able to fulfill mine at this point.
Very nice.
And then, of course, next episode we'll be talking about our whole new ones.
Yeah. Brand new resolutions.
Yeah, brand new resolutions.
Yeah.
But what happened last episode?
Let's check that out.
Previously on Polykill, as the year winds down, Trav and Jake settle into Red Dead Redemption 2. Trav finished off Spider-Man and Axiom Verge and loved both, while Jake spent most of his time as Arthur Morgan. The Just Beat It formula gets a new facelift before an onslaught of questions is hurled at the host from listeners, including more sex, Kill Mary conundrums, who is better fighter, and Christmas tree light preferences for the topic of discourse.
All right, so that was a good episode, Jake. Of course, we're both in to the Cowboy Way. Of course, that starred Woody. It was Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland.
I think that's right.
It's a good film. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
But that, of course, means that we're playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Correct.
Last episode, I couldn't decide which I liked more, Spider-Man or Axiom Verge. Of course, that says a lot about my allegiance to retro-styled games.
Sure.
I loved both.
Yeah.
So much. That Just Beat It formula, the way we do it here on the show is a little bit different. We'll get into that a little bit later, of course. But then a lot of listener questions, man, and I love our listeners.
Boy, that was fun.
Everybody's so fun. Good questions, too, not
really
just
good
like,
ones.
What's your favorite brand of ham, which is Hormel. But, like, no one's asking it.
Yeah,
which
no
is
one cares.
great.
Yeah.
Which I just answered it because I kind of wanted someone...
You feel like
no one's
put
ever
that out there.
I thought maybe they would. It seems like a low-hanging fruit.
What's your favorite deli ham?
It's a low-hanging meat question.
Yeah. Spiral cut?
Well, of course. If you're not cutting it with a spiral, what are you even doing?
Yeah, for real.
I don't know. So, before we get into the games that we've completed, which typically happens at this point, we're going to talk about people's favorite moments of 2018, which also helps us kind of remember,
Because we've done so much, but also at the same time, like, it's kind of like when you're in it, you don't really think about it, like, in a broader scope. You just kind of do the next episode, then you do the next episode, and you don't take a bigger look at the culmination of your content.
Right, and things are a little different observed than experienced. I might not remember something I said, but it could have just come out good or funny.
Right, or you could have made a tweet about a true crime novel.
That happened today. I wish we had the tweet on hand, but I definitely called it a true cum novel. Which in some ways it was. Okay. So here were the tweets. So I said, if anybody has any favorite 2018 moments from the podcast, what are they? Let us know.
Share and share alike.
Yeah. So I'll try to go through these fast because surprisingly there were a lot of them. So thanks to everybody who has a favorite moment and didn't just humor us by answering the tweet, which I'm sure a lot of you did because you're sweet. So Chad Bracetti at Jay Bracetti said Dream Interpretations. That was Off Kilter 15 back in February. And I remember one that sticks out to me. And I can't believe this was this year.
That was February.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe this was 2017. I can't remember. Do years happen?
I don't know.
Maybe it was this year.
But maybe he's using our rules for Game of the Year.
I don't know. But I do remember one, and I'm not going to go this in depth on all of these, but one dream that I do remember that still sticks with me that someone had was the black and white dream at the auction.
Oh, right. Yeah, that one
still
was wild.
Surreal as hell.
Yeah.
That was a great episode. So
Good times.
That sticks out. Pam at Jasila_ on the show a couple episodes back said she liked the Love, Marry, Kill, especially when Spikes was an option, which was quite a twist.
That was fun. I enjoyed putting that in there.
Yeah, I bet you did. Daniel Greenberg at Winterion says either the MacFest episode, because he was at MacFest, so I guess he enjoys MacFest, or the Fond Farewells episode, which was when Telltale died.
Oh,
yeah.
But they're going to finish the game. I don't know if you noticed that, but
well, as much as they can, I guess.
Yeah.
Bill at STC Pod says the Photoshop contest.
That was big times.
And Bill, of course, dominated it.
Oh, man,
along
it was amazing.
With Derek,
yeah.
And they were hilarious, and they've been featured as my Twitter avatars for a year now.
Yep.
Mighty Q Dog says he liked live episode 69, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Jake wasn't there, live in Chicago. Also, Sandwich Talk.
Sandwich Talk was
he
fun.
asked us sandwich question.
Sandwich.
James at RetroPixel enjoyed enjoyed. Am I saying that right? Enjoyed.
Enjoyed.
Why can't? Is that word broken?
It's fine.
Is it me?
It's you.
Okay. He liked being a co-host in Chicago. Says, for a brief moment, I was somebody, right before he evaporated back into a ghost, I guess. Yeah. No,
James.
It was fun, though. I like James being on there because he plays some weird games, and that's fun.
Yeah.
People playing the same old games, not exciting.
Right.
James, he's going to get some weird stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Duke at Retro Nonsense just says, live in Chicago. So that means he doesn't really care for you much, Jake. Which
Seems
is fair.
right. That's fair.
Kevin at Buried on Mars, when he didn't die in the latest F, Marry, Kill showdown.
Yeah.
Because I chose to marry Kevin.
You did.
Miles at Flock of Nerds says Jake's God of War video and Switch pickups, and when Hoagie Briz was on, and the direction the podcast took in 2018, which I don't know which way that was. Hopefully not south.
I think it's definitely south, but I think, we reshuffled things. We reorganized and kind of like honed our focus a little bit.
I think so.
Took out the trash.
We're definitely a more confident pair of podcasters.
I think so, and I think we're introspective enough and okay with being criticized enough that we know when something's working and when it's not.
True.
And we got to trim it out, and we're okay with that.
Absolutely.
So I think that's probably maybe what Miles means. I don't know, though.
Who knows? Caleb J. Ross says the game hunting stories. Musty Hobbit says when Trav whiffed on the IKEA Assembly VR joke in Chicago, which I really did think it was a real game. I mean, I don't have a VR platform. I don't know.
That's amazing.
Josh at Frantic Society says Gildan underwear and horchachos, which are two of my favorite things that have ever been bred from this show. Hey, guess what the name of my horse is in Red Dead Redemption 2?
Horchacho?
Brochacho.
Brochacho.
That's true.
Nice.
Chris at Base Guy 654 says any podcast where he's mentioned in the Just Beat It's, he admitted that was selfish, and I admit that's fair.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah. Cole at C_McAllister says he quotes the episode 62, when Jake chaunched the Rage Against the Machine riff. It's close. It's close. It's stripper music, whatever it is. Diego Avila says when Briz was on and got people to fill out surveys about us, or about us.
Yeah.
And then Frankie followed it up with when Briz was on and talked about pissing in the backseat of the car in the car lot, which also doubles as my favorite moment on the podcast. Because he'd never told us that story before.
No, completely.
That was the first time we'd heard it.
I loved it.
So hilarious. Go back and listen to that. That's episode...
Boy, that's a long time ago.
Off Kilter 16? Was it the last Off Kilter? Did we close out with Briz? I don't remember. 14 or 16?
I mean, we couldn't get any better than that.
No, we just closed it out.
Might as well kill it then.
All right, so that was a fun little segment. So moving into completed games or games that we've retired, moved on from. I guess I'll keep talking because I got a whole bunch. All right,
you got a lot, yeah.
I knocked out 2 Sonic games on the Game Gear. I'll lump 2 together. Sonic Hedgehog Triple Trouble and Sonic Labyrinth. And I'll just say Triple Trouble, easy, not memorable, don't have much to say. Labyrinth, kind of a pain in the dick. Very weird for a Sonic game. It's a 3D. It's almost like Sonic's 3D Blast on the Genesis, but it's on the Game Gear.
Gotcha.
You speed around. It's clunky as shit. You can't control him. You collect 3 keys and then fight a boss.
Sounds like Doom.
It does, but it's so not. I left out some details that would separate it from Doom.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Sonic Labyrinth. I mean, I played a lot of Game Gear. Batman Returns on Game Gear.
Nice.
Surprisingly, it's almost exactly as X-Men Mojo World in like how bland it is, but a little more challenging.
Okay.
And that's all anybody could ever say about that.
Sure. Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the 2 Switch games that I beat.
Okay.
Mario Tennis Aces. I'm with everybody else.
Big meh, right?
Big meh. Yeah. And the
adventure mode, at least. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And I did
mechanically, it's very fun.
Oh yeah. And I actually because I thought the adventure mode was so meh that I was like, I didn't feel like I got enough of the game, so I went through the tournament a few times as some different characters, got all the cups and stuff, just to
nice.
And then I was like, this is where the fun is.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it worth $60?
No.
It's easily like 30 at most.
I would say 40 is what the lowest they would go. I could see that because there's a lot to it, but either way, I mean, the fun in that game is not the adventure mode. It felt very tacked on.
I know, and I liked that there was one because I wanted credits.
Exactly.
But for Mario Tennis on the 64, the tournament was the credits. Right. It's kind of like Mario Kart.
Right.
I'm okay with that too.
Same.
But the story, man, have I ever cared less about some dialogue in a game?
Boy, no one cared about.
I skipped that shit so hard.
Yeah.
I just saw at one point Luigi looked like a mummy,
right?
And some guy on a ship was mad at me, and I'm like, do not care.
Yeah.
Why
don't
is
care
this?
About any of this?
Yeah. Anyway, Runner 3 also a little meh.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. And that's honestly, Jesus, that's honestly the consensus I've heard is that it's just not. It didn't have the same,
There's a few things about it. One is, it's still fun in terms of it's a platformer that is almost like Rayman with the music and all that stuff. Like, that's still cool.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about Bit Trip Runner 2, which I played less than 2 months ago, finished it off. You played it this year.
Yep.
And the perspective is always the same, okay, in that you're looking at, horizontally, doesn't shift. It's like almost a 2D platformer that appears in 3D, 2.5D platformer. All of the things that you do, like you can be so good at the game at some point, you can feel like you've earned your stripes that you can breeze through a level first try, get it. Okay. And you're like, wow, man, that was awesome. Like, I'm really getting good at the game. It felt really good to beat that. There's also a lot of levels in Bit Trip Runner 2. There's like easily over 100, right? It goes on forever. There's like 5 worlds. Yeah, there's 5 or 6 worlds, and a lot of bonus stages that are hard, but the difficulty isn't like so jarring.
Gotcha.
You still feel like you could do it.
Yeah.
3 is so different. Like, everything I just said is different. Like, for one, the perspective shifts constantly. So, like, it'll go into a 3D mode where you're behind him, and then it'll zoom out, and then like it's almost like it's trying to think of gimmicks to trip you. Literally, Bit Trip Runner.
Sure.
But it becomes less about skill and more about like, okay, so you died here, so now you got to start all over again and remember that this thing happens last second. And it's like it's constantly trying to find ways to be cheap versus being like actually hard and like skill based. It's more.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's frustrating in that regard to the point that's like it's not fun. I just feel like I'm getting an inch further just to, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's more frustrating than the other one, which felt good to beat. Also, fewer levels. It's only got 27 levels.
That's very small.
Very small. A few bonus levels, but they're so jarringly. They're so much more difficult than the levels that are around it. I feel like in Bit Trip Runner 2, if you went to a bonus level, it was just maybe a little bit more difficult than where you were in the game.
Right.
But in 3, it's like out of this world. Like you basically have to beat the game and then go back to the beginning and do all the bonus levels.
Okay.
Just in general, I just found it a little bit more frustrating. Like they tried to do a lot of things that were cute with the perspective shifts. It's still pretty and everything, but in terms of like being a platformer that's kind of skill based, kind of like almost like a Meat Boy or something, where you feel good beating it and you're like, wow, I got so good, I can finally beat this level. It just felt like it was constantly trying to like swat you down. Didn't let you feel good about beating it.
Gotcha.
So that's where I'm at with it. You might enjoy it. You might not. For me, it wasn't.
I'll give it a shot.
It wasn't quite 2. I just like 2 so much.
2's great.
Your game, the game that you beat, I'm going to go ahead and take these last 2.
Go for it.
I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
No, run with it.
I'm sorry I've been talking a lot.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, but the last 2 games that I beat were for the resolutions.
Okay.
I knocked out a TurboGrafx 16 game.
Nice.
One of the few I actually have a card for. The games are expensive on the TurboGrafx 16. I have an EverDrive to play them all, but I was like, let's beat a game in the collection. That's the point of the resolution.
Of course.
It ended up being Pac-Land, which is ass.
But as it's a Pac-Man derivative, I assume? Or
yeah, so Pac-Land is actually an arcade game, I think, or at least it's created as one. I never actually saw it as an arcade game, but it feels packaged as one. You go left to right or right to left as Pac-Man as a platformer.
Okay.
So not Pac-Man like getting the little nuggets in the screen. You're going left to right by houses and shit, getting Pac nuggets and beating shit up, and it's weird.
Okay.
Infinite continues, get you through.
That's handy.
Some high scores, don't care, but that's why I think it's arcadey. I think it doesn't end, but you can beat. There's 5 levels to select. I beat all 5, and then it just keeps going. I beat the 5 that they gave me.
That's good enough.
I kept going a little bit. I say, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
I beat that game. I didn't feel good about it. Actually, there's more coming later in the show.
Okay.
I didn't feel good about beating it, but I beat it. Got the resolution.
I beat it.
But I beat it.
Hey.
And then Fighting Vipers on the Sega Saturn. This is a fighting game, as you can imagine. Fighting Vipers. There's no vipers, though. You don't pick snakes and fight, which
that sounds
could have
fun.
been cool if I wasn't petrified of snakes.
Of course.
It's actually just people. And but it actually felt cool. It was like one of those. It also like Virtua Fighter.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of like that era, and maybe a step up from Virtua Fighter, which was like I think it was a release game on the Saturn. So this is maybe a year later. Well, not even a year. I don't know when the Saturn died. I mean, it's like 4 months later.
Okay.
They added some art to the polygons. It's not bad though. I don't. Whenever I play a fighting game, it's never like the best game I've ever played.
Right.
But it's definitely not the worst fighting game I played this year, and I played some shitters. Like Samurai.
You played some shitters.
Yeah, I played Samurai Showdown and Kasumi Ninja, which are maybe the worst 2 ports of any games ever.
Okay.
So Fighting Vipers, not bad on the Saturn.
Cool.
So I got through that.
Very nice.
So there we go. TurboGrafx 16, Saturn, all wrapped up, Jake.
Yeah, so now you wrapped up a total of 7 since the last show, right? Games?
Was that 7? Did you count that?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
That is true.
That's impressive.
It is. A good number of those were portable, sit down upstairs
Of course.
with the baby and knock a few games out when she's snoring.
Yeah.
The other two I've managed to get away for a little bit at a time to play a shitty Pac-Man game and a semi-shitty fighting game.
Okay.
So, I'm not making the most of my time away. But,
Of course. But
we got
you
those
do
resolutions.
what you do. Yeah.
You got those resolutions down.
Yeah, baby.
That's what it was all about. I mean, I'm on the push. You're on the push. I got to beat one more game.
One more game. You got this.
I'll do it.
So I beat a game.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I beat a game.
I'll shut up now.
So as everyone knows, I've been pretty well absorbed by and into Red Dead Redemption 2, and this is a fun kind of situation where I had very little hype about the game coming in. I just kind of didn't care. Rockstar has never made a game that I felt like was for me. I felt like I was, kind of trying to get in on the hype that everybody else was in. Like with Grand Theft Auto series, I like them, don't love them. I kind of missed the boat on the original Red Dead Redemption. So I wasn't super hype about it. Eventually, I think it was one of the gameplay videos that Rockstar released prior to the game's arrival that kind of hooked me. There was something in one of those videos that was like, oh, okay, I think I get this now. This seems cool. Anyway, jumped into the game, and obviously it took me a while, but I beat it. I think it was 88 hours of total playtime. And
that's not just rushing the story. That's experiencing as much as you can.
That's taken a lot in. I didn't take everything in, but I took a lot in. And all I could say is this thing is a work of art, and it's so relaxing to me. It's like a Zen game for me. Working as well as school and just life in general. And sometimes you need a nice little getaway. And that's kind of what this game provided me over the last month or so since I've been playing it. I don't know if I brought this up on the last episode, but it doesn't matter. I decided that I was going to play one night, and I was like, I'm not going to play too long. I'm not going to advance a story. I'm just going to go do something. And then I made the decision that I was going to go on a hunting trip. So I'm at my camp. I load up some cold weather gear on my horse, get everything that I need, and then I never fast travel in the game. So
I don't even know how.
Yeah.
Every time I try, it's locked. So I just
yeah, you got to upgrade Dutch's tent, and then you can upgrade your tent using the.
I've just been horse sprinting everywhere.
Yeah, that's a fine way to do it. But anyway, rode up to Valentine. It was dusk when I got there, and put my horse in the stable, let him take care of it. Went over to the saloon, had a bowl of beef stew, couple of shots. Went to the hotel, took a bath. And then rented a room, got a good night's sleep.
Got the lady to help you in the bath?
I did that one time.
That one time? She helps every time.
Yeah, but you get a stamina boost if you wash yourself.
What?
Yeah, so that's why I always just wash myself.
What kind of boost do you get from her washing you? I'm sure you get a boost.
It's some kind of boost. But yeah, next morning, get up, get my horse, and just ride up into the mountains, find a nice lake in the mountains, set up camp, and just stay up there for 2 game days. And hunt elk and caribou and moose. And
now, how do you store all those skins?
You can bring an extra horse.
Oh, you brought an extra horse.
Yeah.
You let a horse. You tie a horse to a horse.
Yeah.
And you
can lasso a horse and lead it. So you're on your horse and you're leading the other horse with the rope.
I didn't even know you could do that.
And that way you can pack more. Yeah. Wow. So
you're like a real cowboy.
Yeah. And that was just that was like a 3-hour experience, and it was just the most relaxing thing because I was just kind of planning out what I was going to do and. Tracking the animals down. It was just so fun.
And everything kind of worked as you planned. Nothing really fell through.
Nothing really, went haywire. But yeah, finally beat the story of that game. And obviously I'm not going to discuss the story. But all I can say is it was one of the most genuinely moving, surprising, well-written stories that I've ever been a part of in terms of media. Movies, games, TV shows, books. It's so damn good. So
slow burn though, and which is okay.
It's a slow burn for the first 3 chapters. Once you hit chapter 4, you will not want to stop. So, and I think that's designed on purpose to let you kind of roam around early on, because that's kind of the impetus, right? Once you get to Horseshoe Overlook, they're like, "Go make money."
Yeah.
So that's kind of your green light to just go dick around and figure out ways to bring in money. But once the story starts picking up steam, you're I just could not bring myself to do anything but follow that story, and goddamn, it was good.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
That's crazy, man. Well, you spoke very highly of it. Now, I want to ask you, because you have that the Game of the Month, the Cartridge Club Game of the Month podcast.
Right, it was on that cast.
It came out. It's just released. You can find it on iTunes, Cartridge Club, the Prime podcast, Red Dead Redemption. Would you take anything back from what you said on that podcast? Or would you add anything substantial?
I don't think so. I think that, at that point, I think I had just completed chapter 3 in the story. So like I was enamored with the mechanics of the game, but not the story at that point. I liked the story. It was fine. But like from that point on is when things just kind of, I fell in love with it even more, essentially.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I mean, I like it a lot. You're saying I'll love it more in about 40 hours.
I mean, depends on how much more you dick around, but like
I do like to dick around. If I can interject a little bit here.
Go.
Because I've been playing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get caught up in like real dumb shit that I want the game to be. Like I like looking for treasure.
I gotcha.
I get a treasure map. I'll do that for 10 hours, one map. I'm like comparing rocks and shit. It ain't easy to pull up that treasure map either. You can't just like go. You got to go through the fucking menu.
Right. You got to do that.
And I got to look at it like 30 times to compare it to one rock.
Yeah.
A whole day of that for me one time. Just like, would they draw the exact number of trees in the map? Because it's like, I see 6, but there's only 4. But that rock looks close. And that was a whole thing. And I died so many times just like trying to scale up a rock, because it's not Breath of the Wild, but I wanted it to be for a minute.
Yeah, you can't.
I tried to. I was like, maybe if I throw dynamite at this rock, like gold will shoot out of it. It didn't happen. Killed myself. Too close. But things like that happen. Like I dick around, but I don't make any progress in my dicking.
Not successful.
No.
Yeah.
It's like high school all over.
I think that just the parts that I love about the game are the dynamic world, a very cared for, curated kind of world where like there's just so many things to do, and just most of the time things work as they kind of should, and it's so detailed. One thing
I'll add to this, and I won't talk about this later in the show. We'll just get it out of me now.
Go.
That it's hot. You're talking about it.
Yeah.
For Red Dead, I do like and they're scripted a lot of times. A lot of the, and not even side quests, just the environmental shenanigans that go on around you.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I feel like Rockstar invented that with like some of the GTAs a while back, and then the Witcher team. What is that?
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. Really took a step with Witcher 3 in the way that they handle it.
Of course. Yeah.
And then I feel like Rockstar responded with like, hey, we can have these dynamic sort of things that just happen to you. And some of them are so good.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
At the beginning of the game, and I think this is a scripted one, you pass a guy at this one fork in the road who's like trying to rehoof his horse or something, or not rehoof, like reshoe his horse, and it just fucking kicks him in the head and obliterates him. Like, that one's hilarious. So that's like immediately in the game they're scripting like, this game's fun.
Right.
It's hilarious. It's not all serious. And then a little bit later on, playing the game, I was just kind of, traipsing through this area where they're doing some logging, and this tree, did you do this one? The tree falls on the dude, just right in front, and that's crazy looking.
Yeah.
Like, the giant tree falls right in front of you, and it's so awesome, and you got to deal with that. Like, stuff like that's so...
Yeah, I responded terribly to that.
Oh, what, did you shoot the guy in the fucking face?
No, I was trying to
catch the tree?
No, I was trying to lift the tree off the man, but I guess it just wasn't properly aligned, and just grabbed the closest guy by the throat and started choking him. So, yeah.
I like being reminded of how bad at this game you are, and you still beat it.
Yeah, I was really bad at the game at the start.
There's a trapper somewhere with a bullet wound in his chest, or just a shotgun wound in his chest, and some guy somewhere that got murdered by a tree, and he strangled his best friend, made him watch.
While he was being crushed by a tree. There's a fun little detail that I found, and for all of you that are maybe still playing it, if you double tap the L1 button while you have your main revolver out, you'll do a little spin and holster it.
Nice.
And after you just like kill like 8 guys with Deadeye, and you do that at the end, it feels so good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Also like your trick about holding in at start to bring up the map. That's
a lifesaver. Yeah.
My I don't know if it's an Xbox thing, but my Xbox, like, I'll say it again. It feels like I'm running my fingers through a swampy ass crack every time I do. It's so slow and murky. Like, it's so laggy, everything I do. So, like, going through, hitting start, waiting like a split second for that menu to come up, then hitting start again. Like, is that an Xbox thing? I don't know. Does
like,
your Pro do? We got an X or whatever?
No, it's pretty responsive. I mean, it's obviously loading a lot, and you can tell that it's...
Yeah.
But no, it's super snappy.
I just wonder if Red Dead's a little too big for the britches of my OG Xbox
It may be.
One.
It may be.
But it's a swampy menu system. The game itself plays fine, but...
Right.
Dude.
But yeah, to your point, I understand that. But gorgeous game, too. Just gorgeous.
Now, Jake, 88 hours, and you've only given us a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about how much you love it. What would you compare it to as a game? Your experience, like movies, like where does it rank for you in terms of like media you've absorbed ever? Your music guy, where's it at for you?
Well, in general, yeah.
And this might come up later again in the show. We're doing like a whole end of the year perspective,
right?
But since we're talking about it and you loved
it, I think there was a lot of things that I really enjoyed about the character of Arthur Morgan, who is the protagonist of the game.
Sure.
Because, yeah, exactly. There's out of the damn way. There's so many fun things that you can do as him. He's kind of funny. He's, but you can tell he's a little frustrated. Like he's a little, not at odds with the people around him, but he's wants to do something and wants to accomplish something and he wants to do something right.
He's kind of trapped in this gang a little bit.
Exactly. He feels a little trapped, and he's kind of, like a lieutenant to Dutch in the gang. So he's got answering to Dutch, but also trying to get all these other people to do things. And I really like the dynamic of kind of being second in command versus being in command, because like in any game where you're in command, usually what can happen, at least from a character perspective or how I perceive them, is like you just want people to do what you say, or you want to play the game in a way that you're just like this benevolent person. But kind of being in that kind of middle management position where there's this tension between what is being told and then what you're actually having to tell these other people to do is a little different. And it feels like you'll have a conversation with Dutch and he'll say one thing, and then you'll hear him tell everyone else kind of what he told you, but there's a little different spin on it. And you kind of get to see how like this whole leadership dynamic works. And I think that's really a cool place to tell a story in a game, because most games don't do that.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I also think it's more relatable. Like, especially for me, myself, like, I'm in that position. I'm not the highest. I'm not the lowest.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of times where I've got to do that exact thing.
Yeah, you got to tell people news they don't want to hear, because you're not making the actual decisions. And I think it's a really cool place to exist in the story. And one, I love the setting. I love the wide open space, the gorgeous swamps and the big city, and it's just
like, terrestrially. Is that a word?
Yeah,
it's very good.
Yeah,
it's very good about its transition.
Yeah, it always feels natural.
It does.
Yeah,
it is an art. If you can't stomach a Rockstar narrative, if you don't like the shooting,
right?
You think the quest structure is predictable. It's still a work of art. I don't think anybody could deny that.
Oh,
it is a beautiful game.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I'll never argue about with people is the quest system, the game design of itself is a little archaic. It's here's a point on a map.
Yeah.
Ride to that point on the map and get told what you're going to do the thing, and then go back.
And it falls short on a lot of that. A lot of the impetus for exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can enter most dwellings.
You can,
and you can find stuff, but whether or not it's interesting is sort of, it's not quite RPG level. It's not quite like an art. It's not Skyrim or anything like that. And that's okay, because it's not every dwelling in the West will be interesting.
Right. And I did find some really interesting, weird, and cool shit.
It's just fewer and far between.
Right. That's kind of the joy of it. Is like there's a bit, and I think I brought this up on the podcast that I did with the Cartridge Club. It's like you've probably had those interactions where you're trotting along the road and someone is just writhing in pain on the side of the road and they've had a snake bite. And you go help them. That happened to me 3 times. The first time I helped the guy, gave him some antidote. Later I saw him in town and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy that helped me. You can go get anything you want from the gunsmith on me." I was like, "Cool." And then I see another guy and I do it. I'm like, and he does the same thing. He sees me later and he's like, "Cool, you can have anything you want from the general store on me." I'm like, cool. And then I see this lady riding on the side of the road, and she's like, I've been bitten. I was like, oh, okay. So I hop off my horse to help her. And then as soon as I get off my horse, she stands up, puts a gun in my face, and 6 guys come out of the woods with guns and kill me. It's like, so they do this little bait and switch thing where it's like they reward you, and then, fuck you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way the houses are for me. Like sometimes there's nothing, sometimes there's nothing, sometimes not. But every once in a while I find something really interesting, so it kind of keeps you wanting to keep exploring. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk all day. But it's not a Red Dead Redemption podcast.
It's not, but
there is one out there if you want to listen to it.
Exactly.
It's pretty good. All right, Jay, are you ready to move on? I wanted to give you the spotlight there because it's a big one to beat.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into the hashtag Just Beat It. Shimon. Rando tweets and the Beat It's now. Big beat list here from, and I just realized I didn't come up with a funny thing to say.
You didn't.
I didn't. CC Portable at CC Portable Unite had the most beats over the last 2 weeks, and that's because I believe it's Curtis. He's got a job to do. He's got to beat these games because the game of the month for Cartridge Club Portable was Capcom Classics on the PSP.
That's a helpy.
A lot of games. He's got to beat them all.
Yeah.
15 of them.
That's crazy.
He beat a few here. Quiz and Dragons is a thing. I think that's maybe an arcade game or something like that. Forgotten Worlds. I know the port on the Genesis is good. I want to get that. Captain Commando, Black Tiger, and the Avengers. So he beat all those.
Very nice.
There, and I wanted to give some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Because there were some people that did beat a lot of games the last 2 weeks, and we were doing this whole thing where we're not highlighting everybody anymore, but I still think Catherine beat a lot of those games as well. Catherine at K_song, and Chris R at BaseGuy654 also got a wealth of beats.
Nice.
And a lot of them because of the Extra Life stream that the Cartridge Club did.
Very cool.
So good job, everybody that was involved in that as well. Also want to give a shout out to a guy who, Jake, he's been tweeting, he's been beating some Ace Combat games for like going on 2 months.
That's
and I've
incredible.
seen it climb 1, 2, 3, 8, 10. And then there's actually an Ace Combat 0. This dude's beaten almost every... I don't even know how many Ace Combat games there are.
There's a bunch.
This guy could like pilot a commercial liner now. Like he officially is in the Israeli Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Tezrek Unfold, who I will from now on just call Ace.
Yeah, for sure.
That's some dedication. So good job, Tezrek Unfold. Now to some key tweets. Tweets that, pretty interesting about their beats. I'll go first here, Jake. We have Church at the _Game Grinder. Has his own podcast. Check it out. He says, it took me longer to beat hashtag Rush of Blood than it probably should have because this game is pretty short. I ran through on normal and didn't have much issue. The ending was an anticlimactic, but the gameplay was a lot of fun. As my first horror VR game, I enjoyed it a lot. Hashtag Just Beat It.
Just beat it. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's, if I'm not badly mistaken, that's from the Until Dawn universe, which is a game I still want to play.
Is it I didn't know that. Okay.
I think it is.
That's great. Yeah,
Pretty sure.
I definitely want to get more into the VR experience. I want to get more into the horror VR experience, but I think it's important, and he pointed out here, I want it to be a short experience.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be protracted, at least at first.
Sure. Now, and a lot of it's because I don't own a VR device. I got to go to someone's house to do it. But also, too, like just playing some of those horror VR experiences, being on edge of that long, if when you have a controller in your hand and it's your TV, I feel like I'm playing a video game. Obviously.
Right.
But the whole purpose of VR is that it puts you in there, and I can't feel on edge that long. I get like, I got to stop.
You get anxious.
I get anxious.
Yeah.
And like, a game that's maybe an hour and a half long, I think it's perfect for me, personally. So I'm okay with it being short.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Do you agree?
I probably would never play a horror VR game, though. I'm a big pansy.
I will only play one if someone else is in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Because I might get scared and start like punching someone's lamp.
Nice.
This happens. Sorry about your lamp, Brian.
All right. So Jeff the Duke Little at Project UEFF85.
No, that's Jay. Project
That's a J.
Jeff.
Okay, that ran together on my screen here. Project Jeff 85. I'm so sorry. Just beat it. Riddled Corpses EX story mode is done. I've enjoyed this more than I thought. Tough, crazy, and fun. Riddled Corpses EX.
Now,
I don't know anything about this game.
Well, I put this here because I wanted to know if there is a band named Riddled Corpses.
There probably is.
Now, what was the last one you listened to? Are we allowed to say it on the show?
I mean, yeah, I don't care.
What was it?
It was Rotting Christ.
Now, is that a good band?
I like them.
Ska, am I right?
No. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never heard of Riddled Corpses.
No, I didn't either. No, that's...
And the screenshot here, it looks a little retro. Not what I expected.
Yeah, I'm getting a different kind of feel for it than I would think, because I feel like it's almost like one of those like PS2 era try-hard goth kind of action games,
right.
With those like really shiny polygons.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm seeing in my brain. But this, this kind of looks like SimCity 1 to me. So I don't know.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, Flock of Nerds, good old friend Miles at the Flock of Nerds podcast, says he really enjoyed Shadow of the Colossus. This is close to a perfect game. Jake.
That's incredible.
What do you think is close to a perfect game? Do you think it was Red Dead Redemption 2?
It's close.
Close to a perfect game for you. I mean, it's all subjective.
The perfect game for me, though, everyone should know what that is.
Yeah. Fucking solid black
God of War, man.
hide the wiener. Oh, God of War.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you might have just spoiled the end of the show. All right. Well, I'm surprised that Shadow of the Colossus, and I'm sure this is the remake.
It is, yeah. Because it says Blue Point, because they're the ones who did the remake. So
being close to perfect, because I thought it was just okay. But hey,
did you play the remaster then?
I didn't, but I thought, like, how good of a remaster is it to make a game that I thought was meh into like a perfect game? Like great.
That's fair.
I'm glad.
Did you like the story?
I thought it was an interesting game. I was really marred by the glitches that I experienced.
That's fair.
So I actually would like to play this
cool.
remaster. See how close to perfect it actually fucking is. All right, if you want to be close to perfect, Caltech has you covered. Caltech is making robots and shit. We at Caltech, and we don't work for Caltech, so technically not us. But the Caltech folks are starting to specialize in autonomous systems for agricultural problems. You can't get a carrot in your mouth? Hey, call Caltech. Some projects we've worked on, and again, that is the not us we, the they we, worked on in the past include assisting Virginia Tech in an international robotics competition in Abu Dhabi, not where the Burj Khalifa is. Consulting on an emergency medical software communication system used in emerging countries, and helping Travis beat Double Dragon 2 and 1. Technically both.
Yeah, both of them.
There is no software development project too big or too small. Drop Caltech a line at info@cowden.tech if you're interested in working together or curious to learn more. That is info@cowden.tech, and Caltech just re-upped for 10 more episodes, even though they've not heard the last 30.
No, he texted me today.
He said he heard it?
He said he was listening.
Was he really?
Yeah.
To which episode?
I don't know. He just said he wanted to watch me play Red Dead now.
So a recent one.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like what you're hearing so far, Jake, what should people do?
They can go to polykill.com, where you'll find pretty much everything that we do.
Up until mid-October.
Yeah, you should update that. You can search Polykill Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to find us there. You can reach out to us on the forums of cartridgeclub.org. And currently, the game of the month for Cartridge Club Prime is DuckTales, and for Portable, it's Capcom Classics Remixed on the PSP. You can drop us a line or ask us a question or share any idea that you have about the podcast at the email address polykillpodcast@gmail.com. And if you like what you're hearing, you can rate us on iTunes or give us a thumbs up or a plus button or whatever positive interaction you can have with a static piece of software about this podcast. We'd love it and appreciate it. And now it's time to transition to the ground game. You got anything?
Yes. Now, hey, we talked about the waste management folk. Turns out they don't listen to a lot of podcasts. It's a lot of Molly Hatchet.
Okay.
They shut us down at every turn. They were not interested. They were not interested. In fact, my trash guy, which I call him that now, flipped my can over into my yard.
Oh.
And I watched him do it. It wasn't the wind blew it after he left.
Oh.
He flipped it into my yard. And then also kicked the recycling can on the way by. He's not even the recycling guy. That guy had to deal with that. So
that's crazy. So, like, talking to them is like just flirting with disaster a little bit.
Oh, they're not happy people.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? So, hey, I have nothing else to say about them, but I will say for the next... Now, it's getting to be ho-ho-ho Christmas time, Jacob.
It is.
Now, I know you're sitting there, you're wearing your Christmas hat. You got... no, the one in your pants. I know you got one on. And your stockings. Well, that's good, because mall Santas... Now, this is something interesting.
Okay,
I was on my way to happy hour yesterday.
Yeah.
My wife granted me a free 2-hour ticket to leave her and the baby at home to suffer while Daddy went to drink with his friends. And so I was cruising downtown in the old pickup truck, and I hadn't driven in months, and I forgot how to drive.
Okay.
So I'm merging on to our highway here, and I got a little too close to a car. I didn't see it. I thought I was free to merge, but turns out there was a car in my blind spot. Almost ran him off the road. It was a mall Santa. I know this because in the rearview mirror, a guy wearing full Santa garb.
Flipping you off.
Well, this is the thing. He was sweet enough to wave. He waved like, hey, come on in. And then I waved back like, hey, I'm sorry. Then he passed. When he passed, I waved and said, I'm sorry about that. And he gave me a nod and a wave. Very sweet, mall Santa.
Wow.
It warmed my heart that someone who has to go sit in a chair in a mall and just have a lap full of hot piss for hours and hear about bullshit kids want.
Right, yeah.
It's probably all Fortnite. I want a Fortnite toothbrush. I want a Fortnite watch. I want a Fortnite blah, blah, blah. He doesn't know what a Fortnite is. He was driving a 92 Ford Tempo and I almost murdered him. But he was kind enough to wave, and I think this guy, you get up there with your kid, and I got a kid. I'm not is too young to meet Santa.
Sure.
I can't do it. But if you got a kid that's old enough to go to a mall Santa, the worst job for what do they get paid? I don't know. It's not enough.
No.
The Salvation Army Santa probably gets a kickback because he probably steals some of the dimes out of the bucket. This guy, he's just sitting up there getting his picture taken all fucking day. He's got to wear that smile. And maybe when you're up there, be like, hey, man, here's my kid. Hey, he's just probably wants to train or some shit. But like, dude, what's your podcast game like, though? What are you doing in that Ford Tempo, like, when you're not Santaing?
Yeah.
Are you like a long-haul trucker? Probably.
Yeah.
Got the beard. I mean, who else has that beard unless you're like,
It's easy top.
What are you doing? So, let them know, because I think those are the people.
Well, they can tell the kids, too, right?
I know, right?
They're like, listen, you're not getting, a Fortnite whatever.
You're
getting
a Fortnite
podcast.
basketball.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That doesn't exist.
Probably exists.
It probably does exist. But, let them know, because I think, they're, like Jake says, they're communicating with the children, and that's where Polykill needs to be.
Right.
With all the shit we say on here. Any kid old enough to meet a mall Santa is good enough for Polykill. All right, we're stuck in the law. Oh! I restocked it with Sonic CD. I don't know if I said that earlier.
You did not.
That's my game on the Sega CD, Jake. If I beat that one, which I think I can do in the next 2 weeks, I fulfill my 2018 resolution. I don't have to suck your... What was the... I don't have to do it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think I got it.
Okay, sweet.
We talked about Red Dead already.
We did. Yeah.
Only other thing, Breath of the Wild.
You're talking about, that thing is, it's got you a little bit.
Dude. Now, I'm not, it's easy for me because I'm playing them simultae. Is that how people say it? Is that
go
French
for it.
For
Go for it.
I've been playing them simultae. I've been playing Little Red Dead when I go down. My house is laid out. My game room is downstairs, my boner dungeon. It's downstairs.
Right.
That's where I keep my favorite cat and my bar and my booze and my TVs and my collection and everything I love. It's where I keep the podcast room. Jake stays down here. Everything down here is great. Upstairs, shitty diapers and my wife. Now, I love both of those things, too. I didn't mean to have that tone. But up there, also the Switch to keep me sane.
Sure.
Baby goes down, wife goes down, somebody's asleep. Guess who's going to break the Switch out real quick?
Yeah.
Try to get a little bit in. I can't just run downstairs and fire up Red Dead on my immaculate-ass 2008 Sharp TV and my first-generation Xbox One that just coughs whenever it loads up Red Dead. No, I got to be upstairs with that Switch, girl. And the Switch doesn't cough. Now, I will say my battery life's kind of shitty these days. I don't know. I'm playing it on, no screen brightness. I have the volume down. I don't know if that helps with
Breath of the Wild is a big battery suck, though.
Okay, good. It's not just me, because it's like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours is max.
Okay, cool. Thought maybe I was going to have to get a little warranty.
No.
Okay. Well, so, find the free time, get out that Breath of the Wild, breathe on it, get wild with it, and I've been doing that, and the first time I play, I feel good today. Is it apparent?
It's good. I like it.
I haven't seen you in a long time. I love you. Let's have a bitch. No, I haven't played it in a long time, and I was really behind this game. Like, when it went ahead, I hadn't played it or Horizon Zero Dawn, but people were putting it together, and I was pulling for Zelda. I'm like, I hope Zelda's a better game. I just want it to be so good.
Sure.
And they both ended up being great.
Right.
But, I just wanted it to be so good because it's Zelda. That's why I'm in this podcast, is because the Zelda game.
There you go, yeah.
The original one. But when I started playing it, man, there's a few things I didn't like about it out of the gate. I don't like runey shit. I don't like things with runes that are colorful. I don't know why. That seems like a cop-out for, imaginary technology.
Okay.
Like, oh, look, it's got fucking runes and shit. It must be alien, must be smarter than me. I don't know. I overlook that. I know that's nitpicky.
That's really nitpicky.
I told myself I wouldn't bring this up. But I just don't like that. Also, just, it's imposing as shit.
Yeah,
you feel small.
It's daunting.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
And it is a lot like what I remember. Now, the original game, I ended up mastering at some point in my life by age 10 or 11. It was my favorite game. It was the only Nintendo game I had for a long time. And I started to find those connections,
Okay.
It's apparent at the beginning. You go, you talk to a guy in a cave at the start.
Right.
It all starts there. But like this one's way more. You're way more lost. You don't know which way to go.
Things are much more dire.
And like every corner I turned, I was just dying, Jake. Like I was to the point where I was like, I only have 2 quests. It was, and both of them were the end game quests. It was like defeat Ganon and find these 4 things. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I tried to get to like a tower to unlock a map. I got my ass kicked. I was like, am I not good enough to beat a Nintendo game? And then I was like, all right, let's just
regroup. Let's
just do some quests. Let's just go not do a quest. Go to a town, talk to everybody, see what I can get. And it started building. I started like, okay, I just wasn't patient enough. I was trying to like run through the game. Mistakenly, for sure.
You
can't, man. It's too big.
Yeah.
It will fuck you up.
It will.
It will. I told myself I'd cut back on the fucks this year. That was my thing. But it will. It'll lay you down. And once I finally got a little bit of progress and I got a little bit better and like, oh man, I got sucked in hard. Sucked in real hard. So I'm loving it now. Like,
it's awesome.
I won't compare it to any other game. I think it's unfair right now, especially.
Yeah.
For me, like when I'm thinking like best game ever, I have a lot of recency bias. I'm thinking immediately, Red Dead's amazing. Spider-Man was amazing. Breath of the Wild's amazing. They're all fucking good. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where I'm at. I'm loving Red Dead. I'm loving Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I'm loving them both.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go on.
I restocked the log with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I was, once again, way behind the curve on this. I think the last Smash Bros. I played was on the N64. So if that tells you how into the culture I am, I know it's got a massive following, Evo, documentaries, all that shit, but I always was behind all that, never really cared. Decided to pick this game up, and basically on the information that there is a decent amount of single-player content in the game. There is the World of Light adventure mode that takes around 20 or so hours to complete, and then there's like these single-player like run-throughs, like each character has like their own gamut they have to run through. So that's a lot of single-player stuff to do, because the adventure mode, the World of Light, takes around 20 plus hours, and then you've got an event like a single-player mode for like 70 plus fighters. So there's a lot there for me to digest, and I was like, let me just get into this, let me play it, let me see how I like it. And I have to tell you, it's a goddamn love letter to Nintendo and to video games in general, and I love it for that. It's so fun to unlock new characters. The world map for adventure, the adventure mode, the World of Light mode, it's like this big overworld map. It kind of reminds you of like an RPG map from like the 16-bit era. It's like hand-drawn, 2D, very flat. But there's these paths that you can take, and on the way there are fighters that you'll be fighting. And the way they keep it interesting is that they have these spirits that are collectible. I think there's around 1,200 spirits that you can get.
Wow. When there's a collectible, I love when there's at least 1,200.
Exactly. But all these spirits are characters from games. So it can be anything as in, like
a little enemy or something?
It can be an enemy. It can be like a character from the Metal Gear Solid series, something from Final Fantasy. It can be something from
any Final Fantasy?
Well, mostly, yeah. Like anything that's recurring in Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And just tons of different things, and they all have, each of these spirits have their own boosting stats that you can kind of assign to your fighter to help boost them. Like if you start with a character from, I don't know, one of the like there's a Samus spirit that you can get. I'm trying to remember which suit it is that you get, but anyway, it helps you.
Area.
No.
I don't know.
But anyway, like some of the levels have like a lava floor, and this will help reduce the damage of your character. Things like that. But yeah, so like they'll take the 70-ish fighters, and then you can multiply that by 1,200 to see how many different possibilities there are of different matches that you'll have.
Jesus.
So there's a lot. And you unlock the fighters as you go. It's just a super fun time. And there's like lots of little management things that you can do. It kind of feels a lot like a fighter mixed with a kind of like a card game, because you can stack the spirits and they can like boost your stats. Like you can, and then there's like this whole rock, paper, scissors thing. Like each spirit has their I think it's guard, block, and attack. So there's like a rock, paper, scissors triangle with that. And if you're fighting someone else that has a guard, you don't want to fight with guard. You want to fight with something that beats that. So like there's a management there.
So interesting is like everything you've told me has nothing to do with the fighting.
Right. And then there's these little adventures you can send some spirits that you're not using on, like to dive into caves or to do like fight training or to dive into like these little explorable areas, and they send them off in like real time. So it's like if you send them off, they're going to be gone for 6 hours. You can't use them for 6 hours. When they come back, they'll bring you treasure. They'll be leveled up, things like that.
Like Assassin's Creed almost, like back in the day. You'd send an assassin out and he'd bring you a couple stuff, recipes for bombs or something like that. Yeah,
and that's exactly what this is. And you send like 4 at a time out, and then they come back with shit for you to do.
What about Amoeb support?
There is Amoeb support.
How'd the Amoebs do?
I don't know. I haven't done any of that yet.
No Amoebs?
No Amoebs yet.
Do they unlock characters? Do you know? Or?
I don't know. I honestly haven't even looked at that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much to do. And then there's all the stages are available from the beginning, and there's like 102 different stages to fight on.
Jesus.
So, and like they range from, the classic stages to, I think one of my favorite stages is one of the towers in Breath of the Wild on the Great Plains. You can fight on top of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really cool.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's also a lot of fun to just kind of burst play. Like it's fun to play for long periods of time, but it's also okay if you only play it for an hour or 30 minutes because you can hop in, do a little spirit management, go through a few fights, unlock a fighter or two, and then you feel like you've actually done something and are okay with stopping if you want to.
Have you played online?
I have not yet.
But you're still having fun with it, so that's good.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
And there's a campaign mode.
Yeah. And
or an adventure mode?
It's called adventure. It's a campaign, but it's like an adventure because essentially this force traps all of the fighters in the game and makes kind of like dark versions of them, and you have to beat those to unlock the real one, and then you can use that. So it starts with you only have Kirby because he managed to survive. And you use...
He would, man. He's just a pillowcase full of farts. How can you defeat that?
You can't.
You cannot.
Exactly. So then you start as Kirby, and then you can start unlocking things, and you can use anybody that you've unlocked in the campaign after that. But it's just one of those things where it's so cool, but it's such a video game because like something I told somebody the other night was like, it's so bizarre because like I was fighting 4 Warios. They were on motorcycles. I was playing a Solid Snake and I was on top of Peach's castle throwing grenades at them.
I've had a sex dream with that exact same premise.
So like there's just, it's so fun, and I'm having a good time with it.
That's cool. I would have never cared about this game.
Yeah.
Because I got Smash for Wii U, and I thought it was pretty and cool, and a lot of different characters, which was fun. The amiibo support was fun. There was a little bit of an addictive loop there, but I was just so bad at the fighting. I never felt like I really grasped it at all. I kind of was button mashing all the way through. But you're saying that this is better at kind of training you ground up. Maybe you feel better. You're better at the game?
I really don't know because I haven't played a Smash in ages. I don't know where I would say that I am skill-wise.
You play with a Pro Controller?
I do play with Pro Controller, yeah. But I have also played like lying in bed with the handheld mode, and it's fine too. Huh. So yeah, I'm having a blast with it.
Very cool. I mean, like I said, I would have never even given this game a
There's
second
so many
look.
little Easter eggs in it that I think you would like.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it is a fan service game, 100%. That's all it is. It's a fan service game disguised as a fighting game.
Yeah.
Evidently now disguised as a card game with a map. I mean,
yeah.
It's got all the pudding for
Cloud Stripes in it.
It's like they got with Blizzard over the summer and we're like, hey, how can we like the crack cocaine that you make? How do we make it? So I mean, it's cool. I don't know if I get it, but it sounds more enticing than it once did.
Fair enough.
Hey, Jake, are you ready?
I'm very ready.
Dude, 2018 is long.
Yeah, it's very long.
Was
like
it
this
the
episode.
Longest year ever?
It's crazy to me that Black Panther came out this year.
Yeah.
The movie. I was sitting there thinking, like, that was this year. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, Jake, that Brian's piss in the back of a car story happened on this podcast in this calendar year. I was looking at I was looking back to this year. Diego was on this year. That feels so long ago.
It does.
We had Leaky Horchacho was in May. We had Chicago. We had Frankie on. It's just as a long year. It's hard to believe we got all that in, and we were still doing off kilters. We did 3 off kilters this calendar year.
That's crazy,
isn't it? And they might come back.
Who knows?
Who does know? But We probably are the only ones that know.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't say who knows. One of us knows. But, it's been a long year, Jake, and I won't belabor. We're getting into the end of the year superlatives.
Yeah, we are.
And it's, again, the games that we've played, we're giving them superlatives.
Right.
It's like your high school. The best people in the world didn't go to your high school, but some of them won things like most likely to be president, and they're a manager at a Blimpie, which is fine. Blimpie's a great sandwich.
Right.
But they're not president.
Right.
Even of Blimpie. So I'm just saying our pool isn't it's not every game ever.
Right. We've missed a lot.
Our experiences for 2018, we keep track of the games we beat and play. That's what this is all about.
We're not journalists.
And we don't ever want to be.
Exactly.
We are a shoddy
2-bit
piece of podcast. And okay.
All right.
So games that we've beaten. Now, there's another. It's like we're not going into the completed games. The games that we've beaten this year.
Right. The total number.
Yeah. Jake, you had a pretty good year compared to your previous year.
I did, yeah. I had a slight increase.
Now, you do have a tendency to play the big old honkers when you get them.
I do.
And you play them and play them and play them, but you don't beat them.
Right.
That's the difference. And I'm not being disparaging. I'm saying they're big games.
Yeah, they are.
You want to move on, you get a taste of that next big game that came out. That's you. You move on real quick.
Right, I do.
What are the stats?
Stats for me is I beat a total of 35 games as now.
But you played, I won't ignore that you played some Xenoblade.
I did.
Played
some
Octopath.
Played some
Octopath.
Overwatch.
And you put big hours into those, which would have equated to a lot of my little Game Gear games.
Yeah, you know it.
So I'm just trying to give some perspective.
I appreciate that.
It's a low number, but it's a low number compared to my number. It's a lower number.
Yeah.
But the effort, and you don't come in here beating a lot of games, but you've been playing some games.
Exactly.
I just want to point that out.
Thank you.
I want to shush your haters. It's like like I'm on stage at WWE. I got the mic.
Yeah.
Calling out Cena. So you went up 7.
Yep. I beat 28 last year. It's 35 this year.
35 this year. Or do you think, now we're moving into the next episode's territory, but you think you can get that up next year, you think?
I think so.
Yeah. Is the Switch helping?
I don't know.
Probably. You're taking in more games.
I am.
As a collector.
Right.
And a lot of those games are shorter, and you can play them anywhere.
That's true. It should be helping.
Should be helping. I'll tell you what, it helped me.
It did.
Mind if I move into me a little bit?
No.
Okay.
Move on into you, baby.
Move on into me. Hello. So in 2015, when I was just a lad, we were just starting this podcast, Jake. I was wearing a button-up shirt on the video.
Wait, we started this gas in 2015?
Yep. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
We did.
Yeah, there was another president when we started this podcast.
That's crazy.
I was wearing button-up shirts. We were sitting at like a dining table in an old diner downtown. It looked real formal. It was like, if you look at that footage, it's like an old church dinner when we're having this podcast.
Yeah, we had covered dishes.
Like PBS kind of ordeal. I only beat 48 games that year, and I thought that was hot.
That is hot.
Like 48 games, that's like almost half 100,
Exactly.
'Cause I could do math real good back then. And in 2016, I upped it. I said 65, yo, what's up?
Yo.
Hello. I'm doing a podcast about beating games now. I'm serious. I told my wife I'm going downstairs to beat games for the podcast. Jake's coming over in a minute. And then 2017, 71. I'm still going up, still climbing.
Yeah. That's a big increase.
It's a big year. 2018, though. Yeah. Hello, Pete. 88 games.
That's crazy.
Ayo.
That's 12 less than 100.
That is. Dude, good. Man, you aced that.
I did.
You got a B. You based it. 88 games and a lot, pretty substantial ones. I will say I beat some big ones.
You beat some honkers.
And I left a couple unbeaten.
Okay.
We'll get into that. But 88. So hats off to me. Now, I was going to ask myself. I said, Travis, listen, hey, 88 games, what will happen next year? Can you
hit the century mark?
Well, you got a baby. I was thinking that. But then I was looking back the last couple of weeks. I beat more games on my Switch hanging out near my sleeping baby than I have in a long time.
That's true. But I hate to
it could slow down.
Be the bearer of bad news, but you're going to have to go back to work at some point.
We'll have to go back to work, which honestly I don't think it'll phase it.
You don't think it'll phase it? Okay.
No.
All right.
Because the time that I would be at work, I've been sleeping.
Okay.
So any time that I would be sleeping, I've been playing the Switch. You see how it works?
I do.
Yeah, it's a little flippity flop.
Yeah, a little substitute.
A little flippity floop.
Yeah.
I actually, it's been great. I'm almost out of shitty Game Gear games to beat, which has helped me out a little bit. But Switch games, if they keep rolling those out, which I'm sure they will.
I don't think they're going to stop.
Okay, good. I will beat those. All right, so 88. I'm going to I'll try to get more next year. I don't know. But let's move into the superlatives. Jake, favorite RPG, and of course, once again, this will span generations.
Right. Yeah. We're not. Last year we broke it down a little too much. I got a little too specific.
And this year we did the same thing again. So
but I think no, we opened it up much more this year.
All right. The favorite game, and again, I didn't beat all of these. My candidates are Shining Force, Shining Force 2, Persona 5, which I did not finish, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and Chrono Trigger. Excuse me. Jake, this might come as a surprise.
It's not going to.
Oh, is it not?
It's not going to. No.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, I think my favorite RPG was... I'm trying to draw it out.
Okay.
Get a tail from you. Your face. Shining Force 2. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I liked it a lot. I liked 1 a bunch, and 2 was more of one, and that says a lot, because Persona 5 is probably the best time I've had with a modern RPG.
Okay.
But I just that old tactical RPG style from the Shining Force days.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It's good times.
I loved it.
It's good times. Nice.
It was good. Persona 5 would have been a hair second.
Okay.
It's real close.
Hair second.
Just right there. If I beat it, maybe.
Okay.
I didn't get to finish it.
Fair enough.
But hey, now that I haven't beaten it, it's immediately in next year's running.
There you go.
So there
smart.
There you go.
There I go. So I looked back at what I've been playing this year, and I think I've only honestly played 2 what I would consider actual RPGs. And I feel like there's RPG components in almost everything these days. But
it's hard to disperse some of these. Yeah.
But as far as just like mainline RPGs, the 2 that I played the most was Octopath Traveler and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, both of these are on the old Switcherooski.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know. Old Diego will like that.
Yeah, that was for Diego. So this is a little tough for me, but I think I'm going to have to go with Octopath Traveler as my favorite of the 2. Even though I do love the Xenoblade world, there's just something so special about the combat system in Octopath Traveler, and there's such a charm to the world and the characters and the visuals. It all just works together so well, and that combat system is just... Tits.
Okay. I thought we were on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
All right.
Which is anatomy.
Yes, indeed. And Octopath's one that I would like to play if I can ever get through some of these big old honking boys I got.
You need to get to it. You'll enjoy it.
I think I'd like it.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite adventure game.
Yeah.
And of course, Telltale shut down. Just
gets
me sad about the future. Because those were really what got me into a lot of adventure games. Now, Pam would be sad about that because she's an adventure game enthusiast, aficionado even.
Yeah.
And
historian almost.
Truthfully. I need her to point me in the direction of some that I can just really sink my teeth in. But the ones that I did play, Bull Boy, I would consider Detroit an adventure game.
Yeah.
And Batman Enemy Within. Bull Boy, weird. Batman Enemy Within, a little bit of a letdown. Detroit, exceeded my expectations.
Okay.
I mean, it looked great. I mean,
yeah, it does look great.
You compare it to like Red Dead, I still think it wins. It's really good.
Okay.
Oh yeah, facially, up close shit.
Sure.
It's really good.
Sure.
There's not a lot of like environmental aesthetic.
Right.
But yeah. But like the story, like I said, we broke it down. Like me, Briz, Musty, a few others that had played it, and talked about our stories, and everybody had a completely different experience, and I think that's really cool.
Nice.
I worry about the replayability, just because of that, but
especially since they give the option to see. Like that to me takes away from the replayability.
They don't give away the consequence, but they show some alternative paths you could have taken.
Okay,
so it's like
maybe not as much as I thought.
Right, but they don't tell you what could have happened.
Okay,
but yeah, I mean, for an effort from that, I can't remember the guy's name.
David Cage.
Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream, yes. Yeah. From that group who's, they're marred a lot for some reason.
They're a little maligned, and they bring some shit on themselves, but they make quality stories.
They think ahead. I mean, they're really, I would say, cutting edge in terms of like concept.
Right.
And sometimes it falls flat. They're no Peter Molyneux. They're not lying to you, but sometimes it's
right.
But this, I think they really did deliver.
Cool.
I liked it.
Nice.
So Detroit is my favorite adventure game that I played.
Very cool. I didn't play a whole lot of adventure games this year, which is odd because I think last year that was kind of my biggest like genre, because I played a lot, like What Remains of Edith Finch and all these Gone Home. I think I played last year. So yeah, I had a lot of adventure games last year.
Okay.
This year not so much. The 2 that I could think of that I definitely completed. That's because I tried to. If I had something completed in the genre, I tried to count that.
Man, I probably could have put Abzu in there, huh?
You could have. I don't think you'd have picked it still, but
It was okay.
Yeah. But the two that I had, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which was basically just one episode, hour and a half, 2 hours. So I really liked that. I thought it was very grounded. I thought that they did a good job of just playing it a little more low key than they did in Life is Strange. And I really enjoyed that approach. Cool little story. And I hope to see more. And they said we will, so I hope to see more.
Good.
The other is Subsurface Circular.
Which sounds like a brand of saw blade.
Right, maybe. But no, this is it's a game that I played on Switch. And I think there's a sequel to it out now, which I'll probably pick up. But digital-only distribution is from Mike Bithel's team, who made Thomas Was Alone. But it's that adventure game where you're like this security robot who's on the underground railway in this future city trying to determine what's going on with the robots. And it's just a series of conversations that you're having with these different robots that are getting on and off of the subway, essentially. And I just thought that was such an original idea. And I thought it was played very well. Like, it was pretty enough to get by. It wasn't like super spectacular, but just the idea of being like a detective robot trying to like break all these robot
And I think this is the point where I said it sounds a lot like Detroit.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I can see that.
I think I did say that when we brought that.
But like, yeah, like there's no controls in the game. You just pick dialogue options.
Oh wow, okay.
You just sit there while people come in and out. And I think I think it's a really original idea. So I think that's my pick because it was different and very beatable. But yeah, some really philosophical stuff in there too that I enjoyed too.
And how did you play that? Is that on?
It was on Switch.
On Switch.
I think it's on PC and Switch.
Huh.
Maybe on something else. But yeah, I think it was like $4, $5 when I bought it.
All right. Favorite action adventure game. This is a big old
This is a big one, right? This is the one that we all play. Yeah.
Yeah, and this almost, does it kind of spoil your game of the year, Jake?
It won't.
It won't.
It won't.
Okay. I'll let you describe how that will happen.
I won't let it.
For me, action adventure, I have a game that I've not quite beaten yet, Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Red Dead Redemption 2, not quite beaten it.
Right.
Spider-Man, Far Cry 5,
okay,
and Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
I consider that an action-adventure game.
That's the best place it'll fit.
I played all those this year. What a year I had, though. Look at that.
That's a great series
there's
of games.
I had to push off of that list,
yeah.
Truthfully. I will say, before I pick my winner, I think in all polls everywhere, Far Cry 5 got a hard snub. Because of when it came out and the years that we had with God of War and all those other good games, like Far Cry 5, almost if not for the, I can't remember the tagline for it, but the new Far Cry game coming out with the two ladies, neon colored, almost feels like Rage 2 sometimes.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
If not for that, a lot of people would have completely forgotten about it.
I think so.
And I think it was a good entry into a great franchise.
I saw it on one list, like one journalistic end of year list.
I mean, and it was a great time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much. God, I don't know what I want to pick. Actually, I mean, how are you not picking this as your game of the year? Let me ask you. How is this?
Well, I might
it's the same
be
crop of games, right?
I might be, but I'm not going to show my hand.
You're not going to show your hand,
right?
I don't understand.
Okay.
All right, so I guess I want to say in terms of like the terms action and adventure.
Okay.
I like Breath of the Wild a lot.
Okay.
I like it a lot. It's a lot of action.
A lot of action.
And I'm having an adventure.
That's kind of the primary action in that game.
Okay. Whatever. Easy, Karl Marx. But yeah, like I haven't beaten it yet. There's a lot of recency bias, I admit.
Sure.
But I also just played Spider-Man. I'm playing Red Dead Redemption. I don't think Super Mario Odyssey would fit in there. It's just a really solid game.
Yeah.
A really solid game. Yeah. I don't know. They're all fucking good. I'm going to say Breath of the Wild was my favorite action-adventure game.
Fair enough.
I've not beaten it. I've only played like a quarter of it. I've defeated like one divine entity thing. Beast.
Yeah.
I'm loving it right now. I'll probably look back on this next year and be like, man. But right now I'm happy with what I picked.
Yeah, so. I don't think you will.
Yep.
Okay, so my nominees, I guess you could say, for favorite action-adventure game were God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us, because I played The Last of Us this year.
Oh, that is right.
Yeah, I played it right after God of War. So, obviously, a great year for action-adventure games. Spider-Man, I mean, that kind of surprised me. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but it surprised me of how good it was.
Kind of suck for Spider-Man that it came out in a year with so many other good games. You can say that about a lot of games.
You can.
You can say that about Far Cry 5 even. I don't think it would ever win Game of the Year. There's always something a little bit bigger.
Sure.
But, like, it's way overshadowed now.
Yeah. Well, I think with Spider-Man, I think it kind of came out at the right time in terms of like calendar year.
Yeah, people definitely had a full month to really make that game, like the primary game everybody was playing.
Yeah, and it sold a lot. You know, it was like the best-selling game of the month, and it was exclusive to PlayStation.
We declared as Polykill maybe best licensed game ever.
I think that holds up
without doing any research.
Yeah, no, I think it holds up.
It's
I'm not going to do research now because
there was that Inner Matrix game on PS2 that was pretty sweet, but like that was a pretty good game.
But my answer is everyone probably predicting is God of War.
Hey-o!
Yeah, that game just it's from the future, man. Like they went into the future and got that game and brought it back to us.
You think so?
No, they didn't make this thing. They went and got it from some.
I feel like that about games now.
It's crazy,
and I feel like it's something that my dad would have said.
Okay.
Like
yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
like he's just like he's watching like Flip Wilson drinking beer on his couch, and then all of a sudden I show him a video game from today. He'd be like, "Where did this come from?
Yeah,
this is amazing." But I follow gaming, and I'm still wowed by like something that just came out.
No. I'm with you.
I felt the same way about GTA 5. I mean, I know it's not ever, a lot of people have issues with it.
Yeah, whatever.
Again, I will say, like, that world, the detail, that's a creation that, without that, obviously they have a huge team. But, like, how are they not still making something like that?
Right.
How are they not still making Red Dead Redemption?
How's that ever get done?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, when are they like, all right, that's good enough? Like,
wrap it.
How long was it so close that they just like, the tree bark doesn't look great?
Like,
yeah. Stuff
like they literally started making or working on, I'm throwing quotes on that because I don't exactly know what that means, if it was just scripting or pre-production or what, but they started on Red Dead Redemption 2 as soon as Red Redemption 1 launched. So 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah. So obviously...
So it's going to have some old and new to it. It's going to have some old...
They're going to have to scale it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Crazy. So yeah, God of War, my pick for action adventure.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Favorite retro game? I added this one in for myself because I do play a lot of them.
I added some in because I played a lot of retro.
I'm glad you did. For me, I played a bunch, and I left a couple off because I have them in another category because they certainly weren't my favorite retro games. I'll get to that in a bit. But I played some good ones. I played Mega Man X with my friend Mick.
Right.
My wife got me a CIB copy of Brain Lord, a game I was very curious about. It's an action RPG.
I remember this,
Not quite unlike Soul Blazer, which I really liked for the system. Chrono Trigger, big bucket list item. Wasn't my favorite game. I didn't have the same experience a lot of people had.
Right.
But I'm glad I beat it. Glad I played it. And Super Mario Bros. 3 was the first time I'd actually beaten it. Had dabbled for years. Never actually owned it as a kid. We finally played through that so that I could actually be worthy of having a gaming podcast. I got to say, I think I'm looking back to my experience with Mega Man X, and me and Mick trying to get that
Spider Boss.
Yeah, the Spider Boss was one thing, but we also went through this like whole thing where we tried to get this special power.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We had to
get
kill
the Hadouken,
ourselves
right?
in this. Yeah, the Hadouken. That's what it was. Yeah, we had to kill ourselves in this pit. We weren't sure it was going. Like that was that alone. Just the fact that Hadouken was in there was pretty sweet. But
of course.
And Mega Man X. I mean, it was just so pretty, and it was a great Mega Man game. Then I got Mega Man 11 like earlier this year, and it murdered me, and I'm mad at Mega Man right now. So
nice.
Mega Man X though, solid.
Cool.
I liked it a lot.
Very nice.
Yep.
So I have two retro games. I played more than that, but I'd never beaten Super Mario World until this year. I think we beat it on the first day of the year.
It might be
this
true.
Year. I think we beat it on New Year's Day. And the other Super Mario Bros. 3, and there's nostalgia tied to Super Mario Bros. 3 because that was one thing that I got one Christmas, and that was the only thing.
You had to leave early for that one. I had to beat that one all by my lonesome.
I did. I don't remember why, but I did. But playing through both of those is so good. I still contend that those are the two best Mario games ever made. Probably.
Even above Odyssey, you would say.
I don't know.
It was on January 2nd.
That's when you entered it.
No, I entered it then.
Okay, fine.
I do not fuck around.
Okay. But my pick for that is going to be Super Mario World, just because I hadn't beaten it before. And I really liked that final boss. I thought that was a really cool final boss fight with Bowser and the little thing on top of the castle, and that was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great game.
Good ending.
I don't think anybody's going to dispute us.
No. Better not. It's our show.
Exactly. Favorite throwback retro game. I added this one in because
I like this.
Couldn't find a place for it, and I played a lot of these. I played Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap. A lot of them broke through actually 100% of these broke through as soon as I got the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
And there's tons of those on there. So Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap, Kamiko was great. Little short experience, but really enjoyable.
Blissful, even.
Yes, indeed. Blaster Master Zero, Sonic Mania, and Axiom Verge are the ones that I listed here. I played a ton of others, but 100% Axiom Verge.
Yeah, I knew that.
I mean, it's close to being like...
I kind of wanted to play that.
You kind of could still... by your fucking self. Like I did.
Like I will.
No, it was solid, man. Super Metroid's probably my top 5 all-time. Axiom Verge is right on its coattails.
That's crazy.
It's blatant sort of...
That's not, yeah.
It's a blatant love of it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I won't say it's a rip-off. It's certainly quality as shit. It's good. I liked it a lot.
Very nice. I have 3 here. I have Wonder Boy and Dragon's Trap also. I have Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
All right, of course.
Which I enjoyed. And then I have Dead Cells, which I put here, even though it's kind of not a retro.
Kind of feels like it. Got to feel, yeah.
And I couldn't really think of another place to put Dead Cells.
You want to talk about it.
But I wanted to talk about it because I think it is one of those games that did kind of get overlooked again.
Indeed.
Because I think it got outshined by Celeste, which I still haven't played, and that's why it's not on my list. But
exactly.
Physical copy, pre-order start January 1st, so that's what I'm going to be on for Switch. But my pick here is going to be Dead Cells because I found the joy in the grind, if I may say that.
Yeah. Or as we do.
Yeah, we do say that.
The grind is joyful.
Yes. And it's been a while since I've played a game that was so difficult and so overpowering that I enjoyed it, and I definitely did with this game because the mechanics are so fucking solid.
Right.
And just
the joy, earn it.
Yeah, the joy of the exploration, and starting off with 100 health, and then by the time I get to the final boss, I got close to 9,000 health. It's just seeing that progress.
It's a rush.
Yeah, it's so fun, and that final boss is a bitch. So I don't know if I'll ever beat it, but it was fun getting there.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Good times.
Favorite narrative. Oh, easy there, Scooby. Detroit for me, Stanley Parable, Far Cry 5, or Persona 5.
That's
some good stuff there. And I threw Stanley Parable in here because I really did enjoy that game.
Yeah.
I don't think it would win favorite narrative, but it is engrossing enough to have been a candidate.
Nice.
Detroit, I didn't actually like my narrative, but I liked the narrative in general. I like the options. I like
the narrative wrapper.
I like Musty's story. Okay. Briz had some good stuff going on when we talked to him about how his game went. Mine personally wasn't great. Far Cry 5, good twists.
Yeah.
I like the twistiness.
Love how they spoiled that for us at the Game Awards. That was cool.
Oh, did they?
They really did.
I didn't pay attention. Yeah. That sucks. But, dude, I got to say, Persona 5, that story.
Yeah, take your heart.
As foreign of a concept as the Persona games themselves are to me, and the fact that it's very, it's 100% Japanese high school based.
Oh, yeah.
It's foreign on top of being foreign.
Yeah.
It's very engrossing, and especially for an RPG. I find that the stories are often very contrived, out of this world, unrelatable, and kind of goofy. But this one,
a little grounded.
It tugged at the human emotion in a lot of ways.
For sure.
I didn't finish it. Haven't finished it. I plan to finish it. But I like the story so far.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to say Persona 5.
I did not see that coming.
Oh, what were you going to think? Far Cry?
No, that was me trying to make a joke about one of the songs in Persona.
Oh.
Should have seen it coming.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a joke. Okay.
Some people laughed when they heard that just then.
Yeah.
But no, I am a little surprised by that. But I'm glad. I'm glad.
I could have gone Detroit because of the narrative potential that you can. Because I don't think you go wrong. I mean, you play through the game, you're going to get something interesting. But
cool.
Just really hooked by Persona 5.
Nice. All right, so my candidates are God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Last of Us. This is really difficult. I really like the story of The Last of Us. I thought the game itself was a little too long, but I still like the story.
We've talked about this 100 times in the last 3 or 4 hours.
Just a little bit of a slog.
Too much, yeah.
But in terms of just absolute narrative, it's really difficult for me, but to pick between God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. Really difficult, but I am going to go with Red Dead Redemption 2.
You thought that was a better story?
I think so. Honestly, it could go either way for me here, but I think so.
Okay. It's interesting that Red Dead hasn't even made my list as a narrative because I feel like I haven't even gotten to a story yet.
You haven't.
Which is weird, right? I played
Yeah.
almost 15, 20 hours of the game.
Yeah.
I'm still just doing some stuff.
Right.
Interesting. But yet you pick it. You loved it.
Loved it.
That's something. That says something. Favorite original score? Of course, we're talking about Muzak here.
Yeah, boy.
Persona 5, Red Dead 2, Bit Trip Runner 2, and Rhyme.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, Rhyme would definitely be on my list, but I beat it last year.
Right.
Yeah. But that has very memorable music.
Yeah. You know, who's going to run away with this one?
Who's going to run away with this one?
What do you think?
Did you try to give me a hint by saying who's going to run away with it?
No.
Bit Trip
No,
Runner?
that would have been funny.
That would have been.
But no, actually, Persona 5.
Okay.
I love that soundtrack.
Sweet acid jazz, man.
Dude. I
So
mean,
good.
it never gets old. Like, how many times do I have to hear, like one loading screen song?
Right.
But
It's still
every
catchy
time,
as hook.
It's so good. Yeah, I love it a lot. Persona 5 original score. And I actually, for Christmas, I was looking for the vinyl for you.
Oh, yeah?
You're not worth
$100.
that much to me.
No,
I love
way
it,
too
but
much.
goddamn. I mean, I got a kid to feed, dude.
No, I've looked at that before. I've eyeballed it. I'm like, well, I guess that'll stay there.
Indeed.
For me, I only have two choices here because I honestly couldn't think of anything other than these two games, which
You know, Super Mario World's got a good score.
It's fine. But here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to break this out a little bit because I think it's only fair. I think the best original score for a game that I played this year was God of War because I thought it supported the story. It was gorgeous. It was amazing. Really, really, really good. I might actually get the vinyl for this at some point. It's amazing. But it comes in terms of the best song, which really isn't on here, but I'm going to throw it in here. That goes to Red Dead Redemption 2.
So you split it.
I split it a little bit.
Got a better encompassing
overall soundtrack, but Red Dead Redemption 2 has the best song, which is May I Stand Unshaken, which gives me fucking chills when I think about it. So
Really?
Yeah.
You hum it? Like, what is it? Where do I see it?
You'll know.
So it's a story song.
You'll know.
It comes later.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll
All
know.
right. Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. Favorite multiplayer game, Jake? This is all you, buddy.
This is all me. Yeah, you don't play multiplayer games. Now, last year, and maybe even earlier this year, this would have been Overwatch. But honestly, Overwatch is starting to piss me off a little bit.
Why?
I'm a little pissed at them.
Why?
They're throwing weird balancing attempts at some of these characters.
Nerf it.
There's a little nerfing.
Is that what the kids say?
There's a little nerfing.
They nerfed it?
Yeah, they did a little nerfing.
I want a gaming podcast. I don't know what that means. I don't know what nerf means.
It means it just reduce
They
the
throw
viable
a foam
stats.
football at you.
But yeah, there's just been some weird balancing issues, and like I don't know, the meta, which is like the way people play the game, is so sniper heavy that it's kind of just a pain in the ass to play. So it's not enjoyable right now.
Okay.
That'll shift at some point, and I'll go back to it probably. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is my multiplayer game. Even though I have not played it with anyone, like just...
I was going to say.
Yeah, it is a multiplayer game.
Where would you rank Sea of Thieves?
Pretty low.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, that was actually the only multiplayer game I played calendar 2018.
Right.
Which surprised me. Because in
Not-
previous
yeah.
years I played online, we played Gears Online, stuff like that. None of that happened in 2018.
Yeah, no.
All Sea of
No, you were beating
Thieves.
88 games. You didn't have time to play
true. I was
games with
getting
us.
credits.
Yeah,
I was
you're
getting
getting credits, friend.
I shy away from the multiplayer component for some reason.
You do.
It's
You
not
do.
in me to hang out with you people.
Yeah, you hate us.
I don't care for you much. You're not worth $100 vinyl. That's
No,
for sure.
I can totally understand that.
All right, so that's your favorite multiplayer game.
Yeah, Super Smash Bros.
Favorite character of 2018. Now,
Fun.
I remember last year my choice.
Was it Spikes?
That's funny. But no, worse. I picked the dude from Madden. You remember?
Oh, I
Yeah.
do remember that. Jesus.
He was a great character, though. I really think he was well written.
I'm sure you do.
I really, truly believe that. I stand by it. It's embarrassing to have to say Madden, but I thought it was decent.
You thought it was okay.
Okay, so favorite character of 2018. I have written Peter Parker. I like that.
That was a great interpretation of
The
Peter
actor
Parker.
was who they modeled it after was perfect. I thought it was good.
Good stuff.
Arthur Morgan.
Yeah. Sure.
Or Joseph Seed.
Now, who's Joseph Seed?
for
I
the
think it's
uninitiated,
from
it is the
Axiom Verge?
villain of Far Cry 5.
Oh.
Who was amazing.
Okay.
I thought he was a mix of like a David Koresh,
Ooh.
sort of, because he's a cult leader.
Right.
David Koresh and like a Charlie Manson a little bit. And I thought they did really well balancing that. Now, the game, from the get-go, you can tell, like, it's supposed to be culty, but it's a little off the rails. Like,
Sure.
It's not like Heaven's Gate dark, but it is kind of dark. And he does a really good job, man. Like, whoever they model, I don't even know, but they did a really good job of just making that guy just make you feel weird.
Nice.
Like he just like a David Koresh. Like, he's got like the big glasses,
Right.
and he's greater than thou, and
That sounds cool.
It's neat. He's a pretty neat character. So Joseph Seed's my choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. So I have 3 candidates here as well. I have Kratos from God of War, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I have Dutch Vanderlinde from Red Dead Redemption 2 and Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. And Kratos, man, like I loved the way they did God of War so much because the initial trilogy, that were the initial 5 games, if you count the PSP and the prequel, are just kind of geared to make you almost actively dislike Kratos.
He's kind of a dick. He's angry, hell-bent for revenge, narrow-focused, just a killing machine. And then you pop in on him here in 2018 to see what he's up to. What's he up to?
And he's a different person.
Got a boy.
He's got a boy.
Boy.
He's got a boy. And just the turn of that character and the way he was written and his priorities and what he's trying to accomplish and protect his son from and what he's trying to run from. There's just so much depth to the character. So much more than there ever was. Like, so much more. But then we have Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Wow, you smell burnt toast? Lay down.
Breathe through your ears. Arthur Morgan from RDR2. I'm going to start singing RDR2. He surprised me because at first I was very vanilla toward him.
He is kind of very vanilla.
He is very vanilla.
He's just
he's just an avatar almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that changes. But I think I'm going to go with Dutch.
You're expecting big things now.
Buddy,
all this talk in this podcast. You're expecting big old things.
No idea.
All right.
I hope it impacts you the same way.
Well,
I hope
hopefully.
it does.
Yeah.
But Dutch Vanderlinde's going to be my pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I would have picked him last for this.
For you. Yeah, no, I totally get that. But I think he is just one of the most well-written characters that I've ever seen. He is not a good person. He is at odds with everything. But he's got just this charisma about him, and he's got this trying to hold things in place, and he's trying to like inspire people and be good to people, but he's also trying to like do nefarious things. And there's so many layers, and it's so complex. And I think that the voice actor and the character model and everything just worked together so perfectly for him that it's just like this guy is a real person. Like I feel like I could have come across this guy, and. Yeah, one of my favorite game characters, period. Yeah, really, like specifically in this game.
It makes a lot of sense because I also picked someone that I observed and wasn't.
Right.
And I think that has a lot to do with
that
it
helps.
too. Yeah.
Because they can kind of have more of an arc.
Right, because a lot of like memorable characters in history, I look back again. Far Cry does really well with their villains.
They do.
And Voss was, he was a mid boss, but
sure.
he was super memorable.
Yeah.
And you're picking a villain as well, or a semi-villain.
Yeah.
I'm not giving away the story, but he's not wholesome.
Right. He's an outlaw.
And that makes him human, which is kind of neat. So that's cool.
Yeah. Really, really, really like the character.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
I play a lot of horror games.
Yeah, you do. I do not.
A little less this year than usual. Again, me and Brian couldn't sync up a lot. We usually try to get through 5 a year or so. Bro-opping, because we're scaredy cats, we have to have each other to hold and love and care for once it gets real scary. Last year, Resident Evil 7 ran away with it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
And I'm sad that there wasn't something up to that this year that we played.
Next year, though.
Well, we ended up playing Kolot, which was a game about the... I can't remember the name of that incident, but it was about this Russian group of folk that just randomly died.
That one's always been on my radar to an extent. I just never played it.
It's more of a it's more of an adventure game than anything.
Gotcha.
So it's not it's horror. It's psychologically, I guess, kind of creepy. Evil Within, we all played together.
We did.
Riz.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm just very mad on that experience.
I'm not scared by gore constantly.
No.
I need the psychological. I would put Kolot above Evil Within in terms of like creep factor.
Gotcha.
But Outlast 2 was great.
Nice.
Great. Not as personally, I don't think it was as good as Outlast. I don't know if it's because the original Outlast was this just new formula of way to scare me.
Sure.
And then Outlast 2, I was expecting a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Still good though. Solid.
Nice.
I'd say everybody should play the Outlast series. If you like, you're helpless. There's not a lot of combat. It's just parkour, hiding, and fear, and it's great. Great 5 hours. That's my choice for best horror, Outlast 2.
Cool.
Next up, one I picked because by virtue of being a retro boy and just discovering my collection, discovering myself as I did when I was 9 years old. Wish I had those hours back. Games I played that, boy, I don't know why I stuck with that. There's X-Men Mojo World, which was a recent addition on this podcast. Kasumi Ninja, terrible port of a game to the Jaguar. Fatal Fury King of Fighters, which I didn't really talk much about on here. I did beat it. The final boss was big pain in my ass. Pac-Land, which I discussed earlier.
You did.
Big old heap and pile of dooter.
Gross.
And Shining Soul.
Oh, yeah, you didn't like that one.
Did not. And I think of all of these games, Shining Soul might be the best made one, but it was the biggest disappointment to me, and it was the most hours I sunk into a game.
Because you were hoping. You believed in it.
Oh, it said Shining on it. Why is it not good?
Fair enough.
Turns out it's terrible. It's a Game Boy Advance Shining Force derivative where you just do dungeon crawls, and it's the same shit forever, and it never gets good, and it sucks.
Yeah.
So Shining Soul, I wish I had those hours back. You're dead to me.
Gotcha.
All right, Jake, what about you?
I only had 2 on this list. I did not like Garou, Mark of the Wolves. I beat it, but I was not enthralled with it at all. And the other one was a fairly recent beat on the Switch, which was North, which is a game I think I paid 89 cents for, so I shouldn't expect a lot out of it. But it was that first-person adventure game, if you can call it any of that, because it was so horribly, shoddily cobbled together, but about being like an immigrant and trying to fit in.
Oh, right.
Not good.
Yeah, you said it was
Not
like
good.
a little heavy-handed with
Love
the
the
messaging,
idea.
maybe. Okay.
Hate the implementation.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's me. That's
So
what I got.
North goes south.
Yeah.
Best gaming moment. And I added this one in because I couldn't find another place to put these two things, and they were, when I look back on the year, when I think of highlights.
Yeah.
These games weren't the best games, okay? Highly lauded, highly touted games all over your Nintendo Power growing up. Everybody owned these.
Of course.
But they're not great. That's Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2.
Right.
They're tough games. They're very tough. They're agitatingly tough. They're arcade ports. They're already hard. And they come to your home system and they make them a little bit harder. And Mickey and I were determined. We will beat Double Dragon. And well, I don't know why we were determined. It's like a 10-minute game if you beat it.
It's crazy.
But good luck getting to that 10 minutes down.
Yeah.
And I remember getting super excited. He beat it first, and then he had to leave, and I had to beat it the next morning. I was like, hey, man, I finally got through it. Pretty much copied his strategy. Let's try Double Dragon 2, and that took even longer. That was weeks of getting together, him coming over, practicing the knee move. You got to do that knee. You were over the night we actually beat it. I don't know if you've ever seen me that elated in my life.
I have.
Remember, I grabbed Mickey by the collar and was like,
thrusting
don't fuck this up.
Yeah,
We have to, this is the best we've done. We're peak drunk.
Yeah.
It's only downhill from here. If we lose here, we may never ever
get back
here.
Yeah.
And we beat it. And solid high fives, jumping up and down, getting excited.
A lot of hip thrusting.
It's like your favorite team won something.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you beat something like Spider-Man or Red Dead, you just kind of put the controller down, lean back, kind of soak in the credits. But, how often do you jump up and down and high-five your buddy when you beat a game? It has to be triumphant.
There's some catharsis there.
Yeah, so beating Double Dragon 2 and Double Dragon, my memorable moments of beating games in this calendar year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, I took this as something entirely different, so...
It can be whether something you've done or something in the game.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
I'm going with the second option here.
Okay, that's fine.
And I'm not going to spoil it, but I have to say what it is. So I'm just going to say when Kratos goes home.
Okay, and people out there that have beaten the game will be
They'll know what that means.
Okay, all right.
They'll know what that means. That could mean 2 things, but it's when he looks under the bed.
So now
leave it
have
at
you
that.
officially spoiled it?
No, I've not officially spoiled anything. You have no idea what that means.
I don't. I didn't know Kratos had a bed.
There we go.
I thought he just slept in the clouds with all the gods or something. I don't know.
Right, that's how Kratos gets on.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So there is a point there. So the best gaming moment was when Kratos found his bed?
No, looks under the bed.
Looks under his bed.
Right.
All right. Wish I could react better to that, but all I can say
no,
is,
you shouldn't. I don't want you to.
Okay.
But yeah, literally gave me chills.
Oh,
so,
man.
yeah.
Oh, man. What would would give you, if you looked under your bed, what would give you chills if you found something? What would it be? What would give you chills under your bed?
If I saw myself looking back.
Just anybody.
That's fair.
Yeah. I was going to go with just anybody.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Me, one thing, but if it were me, I'd be like, hey, want to make out? But
if it was, somebody else.
If somebody else.
It was Jonah Hill, I don't know. Random.
Okay. Here it is, Jake.
So now here's the way we should do this.
Okay.
To not spoil what our runner-up is, we should do our runner-up second. So say what our...
Wait, is the runner-up the most important thing?
No.
I'm confused.
So I think the way that runner-up is number 2, our pick is number 1.
Right.
We should say what our number 1 pick is. That way it doesn't spoil what our number 2 is.
Oh, I think yours would give it away easily.
It definitely would.
I actually don't know yet.
You better figure it out, boy.
I know. Now, when we say Game of the Year 2018, we're talking about
games that
calendar
we've
year
beaten.
released in 2018.
That's fine.
That's what I was kind of interpreting it as.
That's fine. Yeah, you played some games released this year.
I did. I played 4.
Yeah, you did.
Persona 5.
Nope. That was last year.
I didn't. I'm sorry. Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Right.
Red Dead. And
Detroit.
But
you didn't beat Red Dead.
Didn't. No. No, I didn't. So
you can interpret this however you want.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
I'm doing Game of the Year that came out 2018 that I played.
Okay.
I think... Oh, baby. I think my runner-up has to be... Did you say not to do runner-up first?
You can do that.
It doesn't
first.
matter for me.
It doesn't matter for you as much.
It would matter for you.
I think it matters
two
more.
for you specifically. Okay. Good. My runner-up, I think, has to be Spider-Man.
Okay.
And I loved it.
So good.
I loved it. Any other year, I think it's my number 1. It's just I devoured that map up and down. I loved every second of it. I tried to get as much. I tried to platinum it if the crimes weren't.
The crimes are hard to trigger. That's a bit of a pain.
So I love that one. Which makes my Game of the Year a game that I've not beaten, Jake.
Okay.
And I love Red Dead.
Yeah.
I'll go to the tallest building in fake Spider-Man Manhattan and scream it. It's so good. Red Dead Redemption. And I've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But I think I can see the makings of a great game.
Yeah.
I can see the makings of a world I'd love to be trapped in and live in. The possibilities to me are still seemingly endless.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I felt that way 50 hours in.
Right.
No lie.
Now, if you were asking me if it's my favorite game that I played in 2018, it'd be close. I think I might be having, honestly, more fun with Breath of the Wild.
That makes sense.
Because it has a game loop. It has an unknown, in terms of, what kind of boss am I going to see?
Right.
I'm getting RPG elements. Red Dead, it's a cowboy simulator, which I love.
Yeah.
But it's not... it's more simulator than game.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I can see that.
But I love... everything. I love the 3 games I just said.
Yeah.
With all my heart.
I know you do.
I'd marry them all. I'd fuck and marry both of them. I wouldn't kill any of those
Don't
games.
kill any of them,
Nope,
yeah.
I would not.
Take that option off the table.
All right, Jake.
All right,
Big
so...
for you, what's it going to be? You play a lot of contemporary games.
I do.
I mean, just off the bat, you just bought Smash and said
Right.
it was your favorite multiplayer game. You've only owned it for
a week.
9 hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where are you at? What are you thinking?
So, I think it's pretty obvious what my potential two here are. So, I'm going to go into quick discourse about the two of them. So, it's obvious that these two are going to be God of War or Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2. I think that, and here's my arguments. So I'm going to present my arguments, and then I'm going to dispel what the game is going to be.
Okay.
So
I'm engaged.
So here's what I'll say. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the best open world that I've ever been in, bar none. It is the most cared for, most detailed, most dynamic in every single way, whether it's the wildlife, the random encounters, the side missions, all the things that you can do, all the systems, whether it's the hunting and the tracking and the skinning and the fishing and the, making sure your horse is clean and making sure your horse is fed and, picking the right stirrups and changing the color of your saddle blanket and getting the hats. And, just there's so much to do, and it's all very do it or not, but it's there and it's done well. It's not, nothing is half-assed. And then you layer on top of that a story that's phenomenal, great characters, just expansive game, massive game. The problem that I have with it is that it is the best version of an old system. The game structure is not forward thinking. It's something from 10 years ago. It's something that we've played before. Like I said, it's you start here, you ride to the mission, they tell you what the mission is on the way, you do the mission, and then you go back or you don't. And that's something that's a little archaic,
It's archaic, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't fit.
Right. It makes sense contextually. And I think that is the upside of it. But it is something we've seen before. If you take God of War, that's something I'd never seen before. A 30-hour Steadicam shot, no breaks. There's no loading screens. It's just massive Norse world with gods and monsters and this story of redemption and fatherhood, and it's just this big tragic fucking thing, you know. I mean, tragic in the Greek sense, not like your life sense. Right, exactly. But it's a forward-thinking game. I've never played a game like this at all. That's why earlier when I was like, it's from the future, because like this game does not feel like anything else that you'll play right now. There's nothing else like it. So that being
what's it
said,
gonna be, Jake? I don't know what's going to be. You didn't like. I don't know.
So we have a perfect version of something that we've played before in Red Dead Redemption 2, and then you have something that's brand new that you've never played before. That also feels kind of perfect. So it's kind of. I
now that kind of gives me a lean.
Yeah. So, but.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to splurt it out.
Splurt it out?
Splurt it out.
Gross.
My game of the year 2018 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow, you splurted it out.
I splurted it out. Now, I know everyone.
Is it that one fucking song? Is that what it was?
It's all of it, man. It's all of it. The whole song, start to finish, the whole 3.5 minutes. No, I just think that I can't tell you the last time I played a game for 90 hours in like a month. Nothing else has ever hooked me like that. And
hasn't been why you've been on this fucking podcast. Tell you that much. You haven't played 90 hours of any fucking shit.
But I can't overlook that, right? You know,
that's
I had
substantial.
Great time with God of War. I played through it in a week and loved it, but I haven't looked back. I want to play it again. Honestly, I want to play both of these again. But I just with Red Dead, it was just like I was compelled to play it because I was having so much fun, and I can't negate that. Even though it's a little broken in places, and it's something I've kind of seen before in terms of the game systems. Just all of it together is just, yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You're a beard sporting.
Yeah.
You're a lone wolf flannel wearing. You like to you're wearing a shirt about boxing people.
Yeah.
You fighting people in the face. You like cold weather.
Yeah.
You like sipping coffee. You know when it's cold. You go outside when it's cold without your shirt on just to sip coffee because you think that makes it taste better. You like rum just on your pancakes. I think it's a perfect game for you.
Yeah.
I was actually going to be a little surprised if you picked God of War just because I think you are more attracted to like, and I don't know how this story shakes out, but it feels like more of a lone wolf kind of game. Like you're by yourself, whereas this other game is more wholesome. This God of War.
God of War is definitely, yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
I think you kind of you're more. You said you used the word tragic, and I think you're more drawn to that kind of thing. I think that gives you some kind of.
I don't know.
It's more attractive as a story because it is tragic.
Right. Now, I don't want to overshadow God of War. I really don't. Because honestly, it might be the best game I've ever played, still, in terms of just a video game. It's so bizarrely ahead of its time. The acting was great.
Experience,
but in terms of like because like God of War is like this grandiose tale that feels amazing. It's epic. It's like something out of a book. It's massive.
Yeah.
But Red Dead was just like, this is a video game that's a lot of fun and has a great story and will hook you, and it's a little different, So
fair enough, man. Hey, you don't gotta pick them apart too much.
Yeah. I mean, if I could, and maybe I could, they're co-game of the year. But
but then we're not gonna let you get away with that.
No one will.
I don't even remember what I picked. That's how insignificant.
You picked Red Dead.
I did. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Spider-Man was your runner-up.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good idea. But no, well, Jake, how long have we been going here?
We are at 1 hour 51 minutes.
This has been our longest.
Yeah.
And we want to thank everybody for hanging on. We know it was probably painful, especially when I got to talking about X-Men Mojo World and Kasumi Ninja. Bad games. Shining Soul, not great. But we appreciate everybody for sticking through not only this podcast, but 2018.
Yeah, it's been a great year for the show.
2019, we're looking for more goodness.
Yeah.
Little wrinkles here and there. We got a lot of things planned, both live stuff, travel stuff, and just fucking guests and podcasts. We're going to keep it going in 2019, so stick around. Next week, we're going to talk about our new resolutions and a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. So thanks again for checking out episode 82 of the Polykill podcast, and until next time, we'll wait. How do I usually end? Until next time, I'm Trav Plays Games. This is Polykill. Jake's over there.
I'm Jake. I'm at the McAxle, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. You say something else.
Peace.
Yeah,